All right, and we are live. Excuse my can cracking. Um, now, homie's
Okay, I'm
back.
back as well.
Dang, I told myself if it got to 5 after and you still weren't back, I would just start and just explain the situation and beg their patience. But we're
Oh,
good.
it's alright. I have been screwed over too many times by
Did you get
this
screwed over?
single restaurant. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay, they keep refunding me and it's just gonna keep happening. I keep getting free money back.
Well, that's
And one
good.
person at my apartment keeps getting free food, but not me.
Oh.
You know. I'm hungry! Oh,
Okay, I was just sorry. Checking audio levels. Checking audio levels.
yep.
But as I was saying before we talked about food stuffs, hello everybody. My name is Craig.
Yeah.
Not Craig. My name's not Craig. You all know my name,
No.
or you should. I hope that you're not jumping in here at this VOD. I really hope you're not, because go to the beginning from
One's VOD all it takes.
like the middle of last year. Yeah, no, go get back at the start. Don't be here. But yeah, no, as promised, in the little community post we made, we want to try to do a little bit longer today. Maybe not necessarily the 5 hour stream that we did that one time, but maybe between 3 to 4 hours. Just because, we had a little bit of a shorter stream last time due to some scheduling issues, so we'll try to get some more content out this time. And we were getting to a pretty juicy part, and I was actually kind of sad that we had to end where we did. We left it off on a massive cliffhanger, I thought. So let's get right back into
Yeah.
it. You can see, right? The screen share is good for you?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna be like in between, in and out, checked out while I try to get food, but oh well.
Yeah, no, you're good. In the
It will be
instant
resolved.
before the typhoon arrived, Rosa definitely met a witch in the rose garden. That's right, we are currently, let me try to get a recap going right now. We are currently in the dining room, if I remember correctly. And right now, all of the adults are freaking out because they're like, I didn't invite the witch. Did you invite this lady, this witch who's claiming to be Beatrice? And then
Exactly.
Rosa and Maria, much to Maria's chagrin, everyone was ignoring her, are talking now about how they saw her. She definitely is real. They saw her. She's not some fabrication. Rosa definitely met a witch in the rose garden. But the scene had been so hard to accept as truth that the more she spoke of it like this, the less she understood what it was she had encountered. Ironically, since she was losing her composure, the more frantically she tried to cling to her claim, the more confused and hazy the thing she was describing became. That rhymed. Because of that, it only took a single, calmly spoken sentence to confirm the nature of what she was describing beyond doubt. There we go. That's what I was talking about last time. I was like, Kyrie, aren't you going to speak up?
Come on, Kyrie.
I also met with her. I greeted... Well, I couldn't really call it that. I exchanged a few words with her. It's definitely not something that Rosa-san just saw wrong. Kyrie-san, are you serious? Yes. But she didn't tell me her name, so I can't say for certain that she was Beatrice. However, and sorry if this is subjective, but since I met her in the entrance hall, I was able to compare her face with the portrait. My first impression was that this portrait has to be hers. This is all just subjective. That isn't possible. In the first place, where did that woman come from? The only boat arriving today was the one that brought all of you here. Was she on that boat? All of my voices sound different to me now because of my new earphones, because they're muffling them more.
Yep, the power of changing headphones. I need to change some new ones soon. These ones aren't bad, but I want some fancy ones. But, speaking of which, well, it's hard to say for sure. Of course, I don't remember any woman like that getting off the boat with us. Mind you, audience, it was mentioned before, I just came back from the dentist and my mouth is half numb, so we're gonna see how this goes.
Both of us have an impairment.
Yeah. Oh, is that all? Can you prove there wasn't a boat besides the one we rode on?
Devil's proof.
You can't! You can't prove one didn't arrive!
Devil's proof. Makes sense. If another boat did arrive, it might be possible to prove it. If someone saw it and they said they saw it, then you're done. But it's impossible to prove that such a boat didn't arrive. Even if everyone says that no such boat arrived, that they didn't see it arrive, you can't prove that it didn't arrive secretly. It's just that thing they call a devil's proof. We know. We've been around this ring around the rosy.
They have to remind you. They have to remind you in case you forgot.
It'd be simple to prove that devils exist. All you have to do is meet a devil. But it's impossible to prove that devils don't exist. Just by saying that no one has ever met a devil, you can't deny the possibility that they're hiding away somewhere humans can't go. You can't deny the existence of aliens for exactly the same reason. Until humanity searches the whole of space and can show perfectly that aliens don't exist, you can't be sure that they don't exist.
Just like ghosts.
And it's definitely impossible for us to ever check the entirety of space for the existence of aliens. I don't think it's impossible, I think it's improbable. Therefore, while there may be a number of ways to prove that aliens do exist, it will always be impossible to show proof that denies their existence.
So, any discussion about there being a second boat would just be a waste of our time. She wasn't on the boat with us. That much is a fact, so she must have arrived on this island through some other means.
Did you check for trapdoors on the boat?
No.
That's right. There may be no need to discuss how she came here. What's important is that she's actually in this mansion now and doesn't feel like having dinner with us.
Okay, let's review. Right now, there's another guest on this island other than the 18 people with the Ushiromiya family. And this is a guest even Aniki and Natsuki-san don't know about, right?
I know nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. Be silent for now. Your headache will get worse. It is as my wife says. I have no idea what you people have been talking about up until now.
Then there can be only one answer. Father called her here.
I don't think so. I don't think that means that that's the only answer.
Uh-huh. Called her here for today's family conference.
For the family conference?
He's
Again?
I don't know that. I'm questioning you because I thought you might know.
Ava, could you give it a rest? He's been saying that so much. Poor Hideyoshi. Krasne-san said he doesn't know. So here's what we've got. All of the spouses, except for maybe Natsuhi, because she's trying so hard to be a good wife, but both Hideyoshi and Kyrie are like, they have leashes on their spouses that are not tight.
True.
They're not tight leashes, but they certainly try. They. Oh.
To
Father?
be a Ushiromiya, I don't know, spouse.
Yeah. Father stealthily invited the Witch of the Portrait as a secret guest. And she met with Rosa-san and Maria-chan, and then Kyrie-san. That's all for now. If she has something to say to us, she could just show herself right away. Now we gotta wonder why she shut herself up without greeting us.
Does this mean Dad, who never gave a crap about this family conference in the first place, secretly called a new mistress here? That
You?
would be hilarious. Just... and had her wear the clothes of his ideal witch? It's called my Oshi. This day's too important for that explanation to fly.
I understand. I understand, Kinzo-san.
There can be only one reason. To join in on the family conference. She wants to claim some right to father's inheritance.
Ridiculous!
Get her.
The family head wouldn't have something as filthy as a mistress.
Oh.
I told you to be quiet. I've lived in this mansion with father all this time, and I've never heard a thing about something like that. If we stretch plausibility to the limit, and assume father had an illegitimate child with some mistress decades ago, then maybe father searched her out and called her here today.
Nazi's not going to be happy with him humoring this.
Yeah. Is that what you're trying to say? Dear! It's absurd to think that father has such a child. To waste the noble blood of the Ushiromiya family on a mistress. This is nothing more than a few people making wild claims. It's obviously a fantasy, a delusion, a daydream. Or is everyone taking part in some kind of act to trick my husband?
What act? If anyone's acting, it's you! Quit it, Aneki. Nazi-san may be a bit over-vehement, but she's right. Kyrie saw her, I didn't. Neither did you, Aneki. But Rosa did. But that means she exists. There are people who can prove she exists, so we're sure right away that she does. It's the opposite of a devil's proof. Or are they going to say it? And I want to meet her too. I want to ask her directly what kind of business she has with the Ushiromiya family.
I agree with you on that.
Okay,
I
then I'll
do
say it.
indeed wish to inquire as to what business she has on Rokenjima.
Don't play dumb! There's only one thing she could be after. Father's inheritance. We should work out our future plans with a lawyer who's hot on her inheritance issues. If the mistress claims equal rights as mother, then our shares will be cut right in half.
Honestly, in character for them to be stumbling over their words right now.
True. Oh, wait a second, everybody. Genji-san will come very soon. He knows everything. I'm sure he'll answer our questions.
Unless he was told not to.
Until then, let's stop talking about this. Common younger sibling moment.
Yeah.
Quit fighting. Hey, you kids! Sorry, but the adults have to start talking about something complicated. Return to the guest house.
Rosa yelled at the children, slightly overcome with emotion. The children didn't understand why they were suddenly being yelled at this time, but Eva and the rest realized it too late. They were talking so bluntly about the filthy topic of the inheritance right in front of the children. Of course they wouldn't want their children to remain. So they all immediately agreed with Rosa's plan. That's right. Just as Rosa says. George, take all the cousins and go back to the guest house. You all play nice together.
George, do as you're told. Take all of the cousins and leave right now. Wait a second, Mother. We still haven't finished eating. That's his concern.
Me, who hasn't finished eating.
Ugh! And dessert hasn't even come yet. Ugh!
Me too, Maria. We will have Goto-san take dessert to the guest house. So leave!
Jessica, from here on, the adults will be talking together. Go. Sure. Even though I'm still eating. Well, guess I won't be the only exception. Thanks for understanding, Battler-kun. But you sure are lucky. Huh? Why? I'd want to leave if I could. Deja vu from episode 1 as well, again.
Mm-hmm.
I bet. I'll let you adults enjoy your happy family chat about the inheritance.
I wonder if it would show up on a like TSA security scan. Sorry, I'm talking about something unrelated to this.
I know that this isn't what just happened, but because he faded in, I like to imagine Nanjo just teleported in like Beatrice.
Wow.
Yeah. I will also leave my seat. At any rate, it appears my turn will not come tonight, huh?
He's just like Battler. Oh my gosh.
Probably because of chess. Probably because of chess upstairs.
Oh, maybe.
But also, maybe not. Or maybe it's both. Does he know?
He may just be in reference to the fact that he was prepared to come down and them ask him, is father alive? And him being like, yes. But he didn't have to say it this time.
Yes, honey.
Yeah. Yelling. Dr. Nanjo, yes, he's alive.
Nanjo, it's time for the 87th annual conference.
Yeah.
Go check on Kenzo. Yes, Ushiromiya family.
Tell us just how alive he is.
Nanjo quietly rose to his feet. From his seat in the farthest corner, he had been calmly watching the whole discussion without butting in. Surely, that reaction of his was very adult, just what you'd expect of a calm, old gentleman. I do like Nanjo a lot, although he has very much just been a side character for the entire thing so far.
He's the doctor. It's a murder mystery, and he's the doctor.
When Nanjo rose from his seat, it ended up encouraging the others who were supposed to leave. I shall come with all of you to the guest house. Just cards. They're all playing cards, but Nanjo's there.
Yippee!
The children noisily rose from their seats as they hurried into the hallway. Oh, as they hurried into the hallway, the servants returned.
Ooh, good timing.
I apologize for taking so long. I have called Genji. I was checking to see that all of the doors and windows were shut, so it took me some time. My apologies.
Come on, children, to the guest house. Koro-san, my apologies, but could you carry the children's portion of the dessert to the guest house?
Is that what you wish? It seemed Goto wasn't amused to see the dinner he'd worked so hard on interrupted like this. Suck it up, Buttercup.
True.
He sent Natsuhi a look, as though asking her whether that was really okay.
Things you can say to Goto and Maria regarding the dessert.
Do as Rosa-san says, and it will not be necessary to set out dessert for us. Do not approach the dining hall until we call for you. Tell the rest of the servants to do the same. Understood? Yes, as you wish. Come, everyone. Shall we go?
Have I put him on a thumbnail? He might be lacking on the thumbnails.
Maria-san, you mustn't trouble your mother anymore.
Ooh, ooh! I want to talk about Beato too! No! Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Maria-chan, could you tell us about Beatrice in the guest house? I really want to hear about the witch. Okay?
Okay. Huh?
You're pretty darn smooth, George Nason. I'm impressed. Are you sure you don't have kids? Also, more episode 1 deja vu.
Mm-hmm.
You're too used to this.
Oh yeah, I haven't put Nanjo in a single thumbnail.
Dang. Now's the
Soon to be
time.
rectified. Yeah.
George's words had completely restored Maria's good mood, and now she took the initiative, telling the others to head on to the guest house. It looked like Gota didn't like being kicked out himself, but he couldn't disobey Natsuhi, so he left the room with Battler and the rest, closing the door. Is there some way I might be of service, everyone?
Yeah, there sure is. We've got a whole bunch of questions. In fact, every one of us does. So much that we almost want to have a lottery to see who gets to ask first. Dang.
But no matter who wins the first lottery, the first question will be the same, won't it?
That's right. Genji-san, answer me honestly. Who is this person called Beatrice in the VIP room right now?
Don't! No, you piece of... Okay.
We're not following their POV.
You piece! You piece!
It's not their turn. It's not their turn.
I'm talking about it.
So it's 6. Where are we going to? Just 7? No.
I care so much more about the adult plotline right now than the children.
We went to
It is
10
10 o'clock. Which definitely means that they are probably finished with their conversation, right?
Rudolph? Did you see that too?
Yeah. It does that from time to time. Hideyoshi's claim that advertising doubled the taste was apparently right.
What?
After being chased out to the guest house, the kids and Nanjo had gathered... Oh, Nanjo actually did go with them!
He did! Yippee! It's real!
Nanjo had gathered in the cousin's room and were eating the cake that Kumasawa had brought for dessert.
I hope I'm like that when I get older. I hope like there's a bunch of kids that are like, we're gonna go play a card game and I get to join and have fun.
It was both wonderful and high class, topped with lavish amounts of cream and decorated deliciously with fruits. But delicious as it was, it didn't taste quite as good for some reason. Without Gota-san selling it, it isn't nearly as good. And if we ask Kumasawa-san to sell it, she'd just say it's made of mackerel. Huh? Really? You can make cake from mackerel?
She's in here. Oh, absolutely. And as you can see with this very cake, if you mix the squeezed juice of mackerel with flour and eggs before cooking, it comes out all fluffy. That'd be incredible if true. Maybe mackerel cake will show up on the new menu at one of Father's restaurants.
After all, mackerel's full of nutrients and sounds healthy.
What?
It might get really popular with women and the elderly.
What?
Only women and the elderly want to eat healthily, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not gonna get anywhere near it.
Umineko is paid big time by the Mackerel Corporation, huh?
Big mackerel.
Yeah.
Girls won't eat something that weird.
Even the elderly would wish to decline.
That's really funny.
This is the only reason they incorporated Nanjo into this scene is for that joke.
It's so good. Oh, but it's delicious, you know.
Kumasawa was really cheering up the mood with her classic mackerel jokes. But the sound of the downpouring rain kept turning their attention towards the mysterious guest. We got that here too. We got downpouring rain where I am.
And mysterious guests is what I want to have, but I'm not getting them.
In the end, they showered Maria with questions again. But since she was the only person here to have met Beatrice... Oh, since she was the only, not but since, just since.
Oh, here we go. I can't believe she was actually telling the truth.
You make it sound like, though you never believed it, this Maria meets a witch business isn't news to you. Yeah, I thought it was just one of those fairy tales you'd expect from a dreamy kid that age.
She exists. Beatrice exists. Every year when we come to the family conference, I meet her and we play together.
When are they gonna learn to not say, I can't believe it, in front of her?
Yeah.
That's right. Although Beatrice-sama doesn't usually show herself, I hear she sometimes unexpectedly appears before honest people with clean hearts. Ho 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 ho.
Beatrice. Refer to that character in the fairy tale about the Rokenjima witch. We know!
Wait, really?
That's her? To keep Kenzo in a good mood, the family and the servants acted as though they believed in the witch of his delusions. That's how Rokenjima's fairy tale, or maybe ghost story, had come into being. To the family members who knew that backstory, the fairy tale of the Golden Witch wasn't something to be taken too seriously. However, they were never able to say that out loud in front of Kenzo. Because of that, the legend of the witch carried a lot more weight to someone like young Maria, who didn't know the story of how it had come into being. That's why Maria believed in the legend of the witch.
That was last episode.
She accepted it entirely. That was only natural for an imaginative girl who believed in witches. So people had avoided saying things that would betray her dream. On the contrary, they had worked together to say and do things that would help liven up her dreams without her knowing.
So when Maria-chan was showing us that candy that supposedly came from Beatrice, I figured someone suddenly slipped it into her handbag.
I have done similar things a few times in the past, secretly placing sweets somewhere. I imagine even Kumasawa-san, or rather, all of the servants and everyone in the Ushiromiya family has done it once or twice.
So, if it'll make a small innocent kid happy, you might place a sweet somewhere and have everyone join in on keeping the secret alive for her.
Like Santa.
Come to think of it, I'll bet you do that kind of thing all the time, George Aniki.
Who knows?
It'd probably be boorish to admit to such a thing out loud. George admitted it while being extremely wary that Maria didn't find out. In other words, it's kind of like Santa Claus. To protect a kid's dreams, the parents plot together and lie, setting presents at the bedside of a child fast asleep. Well, yeah, but I don't really understand how it's quite like Santa Claus because Santa's real. After all... Oh, wait, this is Jessica. After all, you want to protect a kid's dreams, right? Obviously, I've known Santa doesn't exist for a long time now.
What?
Jessica. No, common Santa denier.
True.
But if there's no reason to wake up from a dream like that, I wish I could have believed it all my life.
It is the same thing, because Beatrice is also real.
Exactly, exactly. Santa Claus exists.
Uh-huh.
You just don't believe.
What's the thing we
You just
learned?
don't believe, Jessica.
Without love, it cannot be seen.
Mm-hmm. They hate me because I've got a sense of childlike wonder.
Exactly. They do not have love in their hearts.
Because adults know that the world is filled with terrible things. They all want to at least protect the pure dreams of a child.
Beatrice exists. Exists.
Alright, I gotta know, if you do this too, every time a character comes on screen, I have like some sort of somatic thing I do that like locks me into their voice. Do you do that too?
I know I do, but I haven't been like paying attention to what it is for each character.
I started noticing last time because every time Rudolph is on screen, I stick my hand up just like his sprite does. And every time I do Kumasawa, I just start shaking. I haven't caught a whole bunch of the other ones, but those two were the most apparent to me. But anyway.
For Maria, I bounce when I do the ooh.
You bounce?
I do a little pop up when I go ooh.
Okay. Yes, she does. Beatrice-sama does exist, right? some time ago, when I was drying mackerel to make some black tea, suddenly...
That's not how you make black tea.
That's how she makes it.
That's how Kurosawa makes everything, apparently.
Well, it basically goes something like that. Supposedly, at least.
So, simply put, now that you've said that, I'm thinking about it, I squint
Right?
when I do Battler.
Do you?
Because he's constantly questioning things.
True.
So simply put, this was supposed to be a witch that no one but Maria believed in.
I wouldn't phrase it quite like that. The point isn't that we didn't believe. We were all trying to give her a chance to believe.
So this is about not betraying a child's innocence. But Santa doesn't exist in reality. It's because you think of it that way that he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
You don't believe. Silly Battler.
Mm-hmm.
You don't believe.
Well, we're not there yet. Never mind. We'll wait. We'll get here.
Okay. If you don't want kids to be all disappointed when they learn the truth, you'd be better off not showing them that dream in the first place. Is the fact that I think like this proof that I'm still a long way from becoming a full adult? The true nature of the Rokenjima witch was finally starting to take shape in Battler's mind. However, their current situation overrode this understanding, and in fact, it completely overturned its very premise. So, we thought we knew what was going on, but now Beatrice-sama the witch has actually appeared in reality. Is that it? Judging by how freaked out our parents were, it looks like she wasn't an invited guest. Now it's starting to get interesting.
There's no reason for us to simply assume that a woman called Beatrice doesn't exist. I do it for George too. I just mimic their sprite, I'm realizing. Because I stick my hand out to the side like he does just now. It's what Uncle Rudolph called a devil's proof. None of us knew that a woman calling herself Beatrice existed. But that's not the same as proving that Beatrice doesn't exist. Ooh, are we moving on from this scene? Oh, nope, just switching up the music.
Dr. Nanjo, you've been friends with Grandfather for a long time, right?
At one point during the family conference, I was questioned quite thoroughly by Cross-san and the others. They wanted to know if, long ago, Kenzo-san might have had a mistress called Beatrice and had an illegitimate child with her.
I get it. Our parents have their heads full with the inheritance problem. So, of course, if the daughter of a mistress like that showed up, it'd be troublesome for them.
Cross-san and the rest probably asked Genji about it first. However, Genji-san is an aide who's sworn loyalty to Kenzo-san, and is probably a friend more trusted by Kenzo-san than myself. I doubt he told them anything. So next, they went to ask me, as an old friend of his.
And? Did Grandfather have a lover called Beatrice, Dr. Nanjo?
He did. No, I have never met her. However, I have heard from Kenzo-san that he had a relationship with a woman like that. He said she passed away a very long time ago.
She's dead. So, did the two of them have a kid?
That I do not know. But Kenzo-san always says that reviving Beatrice is the goal of his research. Usually, if one loses a mistress but has a child left behind to remember them by, they pour all of their love onto that child. Therefore, we naturally assumed that there was no such child between Kenzo-san and Beatrice.
Ooh, now it's correct.
It's almost like she intentionally wore an outfit to make herself look like a younger variation.
Baby.
To imply that she was the child.
Maybe. Or she really wanted to show off her thigh tat.
What if it's both?
Hmm?
Both strategic and show-offy.
Mm-hmm.
So, that leaves us with another devil's proof. Yeah, it's impossible to prove that a child between him and a mistress didn't exist. So, now that this child has actually appeared, we have to assume that she did exist after all.
George?
I was muted. I was muted. I was taking a sip. That's a bit of a rushed argument. It's more realistic that someone caught wind of the trouble with the Ushiromiya family inheritance, knew about grandfather's relationship with a mistress long ago, and impersonated her, trying to take a slice of the inheritance for themselves.
Or it is the revived mistress.
There we go. Now you're cooking.
Sure, that is realistic. But we can't deny the possibility that she really is an illegitimate child. One who lived in isolation, forgotten by grandfather, who's returned for revenge, right? This is like probably the exact conversation the adults all had 4 hours ago.
Maybe, but with some more, oohs and rights in there and all that stuff.
Yeah. Revenge? What do you mean? Sorry. Guys just like to dramatize stuff to make it sound interesting. I've seen too many weird dramas. Normally that might have come off as a light joke. But the joke had landed after an uninvited mystery guest calling herself Beatrice had marched in on the day of the family conference where the bloody argument that the inheritance had become took center stage. You'll come to me on the day of my father's death. There's
something,
way.
horsehead.
Yeah, there's no way Battler's joke would be welcomed with laughter. So it was a really big help when Nanjo laughed brightly to calm everyone down.
There he goes.
I see. That does sound quite intriguing. I would love to read a novel with a plot like that.
Well, I don't think it could actually work. After all, right now, on this island, there's 1, 2, 3, a full 18 people, right? If anyone tries to do something weird, they'll immediately get caught. And thanks to the typhoon, they can't even leave the island. In other words, if you tried to commit some crazy crime, you'd be screwed.
I agree. In a dead end without any way to escape, and in a situation where everyone's really suspicious of her, I seriously doubt she could pull off a terrifying revenge drama like that.
There's a bomb strapped to my chest!
There you go.
Probably not. In that case, it would be more realistic if she had come in secret, without making her presence known. I simply cannot imagine someone appearing openly to take revenge outside of some historical drama.
Well, who knows, right? Revenge is based on emotion, not logic. If you've got someone willing to go down along with their opponent, they might not be afraid of anything. Not even the police or large numbers of people.
It's okay, Jessica-chan. None of the disturbing things we're imagining will happen.
Like the battle royale between our parents over the inheritance isn't disturbing.
Fortnite?
There it goes.
That's right. Dad and Uncle Rudolph are pretty tough. And Aunt Eva's even trained in the martial arts. I'm trying to make it sound like she's cheesing now.
Cheesing, yeah.
We'll be fine. Yeah. Jessica didn't say it out loud, but she vaguely noticed that her own father stood in opposition to all the other siblings on the inheritance issue. They usually played nice in front of the children, but when that pretense was lifted away, like it had been at dinner, the result would be a tumultuous uproar. After realizing this, it was only natural for Jessica to be frightened at the thought that her parents might get caught up in some kind of trouble.
Always remember.
And become human sacrifices for something terrifying.
Happy day.
Seriously, George Aniki's right. Nothing's gonna happen. Even if she pretends she's a witch, what can a single human woman who can't even use magic do? Literally the worst thing you could have said, Battler.
Oh.
Yay, I get to do this one again now. Finally, she's crazy again. The sudden creepy laugh made all of them jump. And when they realized the strange laugh was coming from Maria, they were shocked again.
I see. So that's how you see it, Battler.
What is? Don't laugh all creepy like that.
You accept Beatrice's existence for now. At least you accept her as the 19th person and a guest. But that's all, right? You don't accept that the 19th person, Beatrice, is a witch, right?
Huh? Of all the crazy things to say, of course that's what I think. Witches couldn't possibly exist.
Oh boy.
The only possibility is that she's a human woman claiming to be a witch.
Isn't that odd, Battler? That's a devil's proof, isn't it? Of course witches don't exist. But just because you've never met a witch, that doesn't mean you've proven that witches don't exist, right?
That's right. You're not wrong there. I can't prove that witches don't exist. However, even if I can't prove it, I can claim it. I claim that witches don't exist.
Nonde? Why?
How can you claim that witches don't... Why did I sound more like a little girl when I said it in Japanese?
That's just how Japanese work, baby.
How can you claim that witches don't exist, even though you can't prove it?
Because things like that don't exist. What?
So that's QED.
I'm assuming it's supposed to be said because it's 3 capital letters.
Checking.
You finished your proof without any evidence or basis.
How do you say it? How do you say it?
Quid.
Hold on. It's an initialism of Latin, quod erat demonstrandum, meaning that which was to be demonstrated.
So that's quod era demonstrandum.
It makes it more sinister when she says it.
Traditionally, the abbreviation is placed at the end of mathematical proofs and philosophical arguments.
Why does she know this? Why?
Maria moment.
You finished your proof without any evidence or basis.
That's crazy.
Now there's a typical case of the ignorant willfully ignoring the shallowness of their own knowledge. A reckless suspension of thought.
Then there's only one way to resolve this, Maria. The witch's side needs to show some proof themselves. It's a devil's proof again. If you can bring me a devil, we can end this right now. In this case, we can just get this woman calling herself Beatrice to display some wonderful, magnificent magic like the twinkling stars. All she has to do is show us something. All she has to do is show us something that's impossible for humans, right?
Wow, I didn't expect I would get interjected in this. I thought it was just going to be you versus you. Okay. Come now, you two. Please, settle down.
Shut up, you old bat.
True.
Kumasawa noticed the atmosphere between them was getting worse and tried to calm them. It seemed as though Battler quickly realized that he wasn't acting like an adult. Really? I feel like he's given a pretty decent argument and not being overblown about it. But Maria's expression didn't loosen. And she laughed creepily. As she laughed creepily, she kept staring at Battler. You quit it too, Maria. Let's get back in a good mood, okay?
There she goes. Yeah.
If that's what you want, Beatrice will definitely show you. Something impossible for humans. When she does, you'll believe too, okay? You'll believe in Beatrice.
Sure. If she lets me have a look, I'll believe.
It's a chess debate between the witch and you, Battler. If you get checkmated, you'll believe in the witch.
Oh, I like the way you put that. The witch shows her magic. My king is put into check. I quibble, saying it'd be possible to reproduce her feat using measures even a human could take, and my king escapes. Failing to do that would be checkmate, so that's a pretty good analogy.
Battler, in chess, you and your opponent have pieces that move in the same way, so you can predict your opponent's moves. But you know what? What you aren't expecting is that your opponent's pieces might be able to move in ways far stranger than yours. You've simply assumed that, since witches must not exist, the movements of Beatrice's pieces will obviously be the same as your own. But you know what?
She says, but you know what, a lot.
She do. She say, but you know what? Battler be saying, right? A lot.
Sorry, Battler, but your chess partner isn't human. She's a witch. She can move her pieces in ways that humans can't. Right now, your understanding is flawed. Battler, you like Aunt Kyrie's chessboard thinking, right?
Yeah. I like that style of thinking, where you stand in your opponent's shoes.
And that's why you'll get stuck. Even though your opponent is a witch, you won't accept it. So you can't understand the moves a witch might make, and your chessboard thinking won't work. Your knowledge of your opponent is mistaken. The very first premise of chessboard thinking is broken down.
Ah. So that's your game.
You cannot win in chess against a witch.
Yeah. Fade from this scene. Where are we going?
Water.
Shabalaba do it to him.
No.
Oh! Alright, hold up. We gotta swoop. Gotta get a little lubricant in the throat here. The numbing is going away in my jaw, and I can feel that I definitely was just like biting my tongue several times.
Dang.
Ouchie. Okay. I don't know what happened after that. We servants were strictly ordered not to approach the dining room. I see. So, Shannon, have you ever met this person called Beatrice before? know.
Dang.
Huh.
That was a slightly odd way to say it.
Slightly.
It didn't quite sound as if she was saying her memory was hazy.
For us servants, Beatrice-sama is the second master of this mansion. Some people say we've spread that rumor because of the master's influence. But even when I just started working here, the story of Beatrice-sama was already being whispered of. I've heard about it before. If you don't show her respect, you'll get cursed, and at least one servant actually did meet with an accident, right? Yes, but it's true that some people believed more than others. I believe respect for that sort of thing shouldn't be forgotten, so I have never doubted that she exists. I vaguely believed that, a shadowy being called the Golden Witch existed. And then that witch, whose existence was so shadowy and obscure, actually showed herself and entered openly through the entrance hall. Is that what happened? I don't know.
Why is she lying so hard right now?
I don't know anything.
There's obviously a reason.
I don't know.
You don't know anything.
Mm-hmm. When you brought her dinner, did you talk about anything? No, nothing.
Not true.
Do you think she's just tweaking because of the whole I'm gonna kill you and George now?
Maybe.
Maybe she's trying not to be close to him. But I see. Still, a witch that eats food somehow doesn't sound so realistic. Maybe, after all, it's just someone who knows about the witch legend on this island. Someone who's taking on Beatrice's name. I think you've probably come to respect Beatrice and think of her as something like a guardian god of the mansion. So when a person appeared actually going by that name, maybe you were a little disturbed. That's right. I guess that must be the case.
George was slightly at a loss for what to do about Shannon's downcast appearance. Maybe not just Genji, but even the young servants had been ruthlessly questioned as to whether they knew anything about this Beatrice person. Thinking that, he tried to cheer her up somehow. Surely, just like Maria and Jessica, Shannon was unable to fully hide the agitation caused by the sudden visit of this person, calling herself the Golden Witch. He'd been so sure that was the case. But George probably had no way of looking into Shannon's heart. Shannon was bitter and sad. The door to the Golden Land would be opened. The witch had definitely told her that. That meant the demise of everything. Even if she accepted the ring from George, they would never be married now. No. In the first place, did furniture like her even have the right to be married? Even if the witch hadn't come to signal their demise, wasn't their relationship fated to fail sooner or later? Had she turned her gaze to focus solely on those fun days spent with George, while purposefully closing her eyes to the sad reality?
What's wrong? You really haven't looked well for a while now. George-san, what does it mean to be engaged? Huh? It means making a promise to marry. But I think in that sense, it means the same thing as marriage. To be honest, I want to take you home as my wife right away. But right now I'm in the middle of training, and I'm still a long way from having the capacity to create my own castle. That's why I want to take you home with me, with my head held high, only after I've become a full adult. I'm not talking about the distant future. I just want you to wait a short 3 years. But that doesn't mean I want to lie about my feelings for another 3 years. So, I decided to give you an engagement ring. that might be a shameful reason as a man. Maybe it's shameful to get engaged because I want you to wait, since I can't support my work and a wife at the same time yet. But I will definitely. Thank you very much. I understand that to you, George-san, an engagement ring means something different than one of many presents you'd give to a lover. Of course it's different. An engagement ring isn't a simple accessory. It's an oath between lovers, a noble promise left in the form of a ring. So if we were to get married right away, it'd be completely meaningless, right? Then it wouldn't be an engagement ring. I'd give it to you as a wedding ring. Either way, I'd still be giving you a ring. So it's a sold sign. Like saying, this woman is mine. Nobody touch her. No, that's not what I...
At that point, you just gotta double down. If she's saying it, I mean, yeah. George knew that he was weak by nature. When he'd been captivated by Shannon and had sworn to become an excellent man, he had also sworn to throw away that weak part of himself. So even if he had to be blunt about it, he chose to answer a little roughly. He was sure that doing so would bolster and reassure Shannon.
Oh? No, that may be true. Sayo, I'll make you my wife. I won't give you to anyone else. I'll make you mine alone. So no one will lay a hand on you. That's what this ring is. Without a doubt. Thank you very much, George-san. I'm truly happy.
Is it? Okay, this is her internally.
Okay. Then, George-san, if it was decided by fate that this engagement ring, that this promise could never be fulfilled, would you still give it to me?
Shannon tried to ask that, but she swallowed her words.
I don't know if we've heard this song or not.
Because George had already spoken the answer. George had said it. He had said that to him, an engagement ring was infinitely similar to a wedding ring. Therefore, accepting George's ring had a significance far more sacred than a promise to marry.
So, I'll stop calling this an engagement ring. From now on, this isn't an engagement. It's a wedding ring. Is that really okay? Is it okay to, just proclaim that we're married without even God's blessing? Yeah. It's enough to tell God, Father, and Mother about it afterwards. We'll tell them all that we've been married. No one will be able to undo it. George-san, I'm not saying this because of a momentary emotion. I'm not just looking at how you are now. I'm looking at the you of tomorrow, of the next day. I'm even gazing at you as you'll be in old age, in the future, as I say this. You're always talking about that, George-san. About how you want to enjoy your old age slowly, surrounded by healthy children and grandchildren. Yeah. At that time, an older you will be beside me. That is what I expect. No, what I foresee. Yes. Because that day will surely come. Will it surely come? Yes, surely, definitely. And this ring proves it without words. Please, show me. Huh? Here it is.
George, thinking he was being told to show her the ring, hurriedly took out the ring box. Even though he had practiced so much, he hadn't been able to do it cool.
Oh!
But Shannon wasn't looking at that.
CG? CG, give me the CG. Screenshot. chew it. I'm good.
In her straight and direct gaze were vague tears and a smile. She focused her eyes on George's eyes. No, on something she could see beyond his eyes.
Sorry, I'm trying to nail this song down. Please, show me that future. Yeah, I'll show you. Surely. I promise it. And not just until old age. After we die, too. Even when we become spirits, we'll always, always be together.
Shannon wiped away her tears and took the ring box. Inside was a diamond ring worthy of blessing the two of them. George said the line that he'd practiced over and over again inside his head.
I want you to put this ring on whatever finger you like and have that be your answer. So by tomorrow morning...
Dang!
Oh.
I wouldn't be able to control myself.
Shannon smiled, took the ring, and with a completely natural movement, put it on the ring finger of her left hand. It really had looked like such a natural, ordinary movement. And for a while, George was stunned.
Same. This is my answer, George-san. Shannon. No. Sayo. Even when we become spirits, we'll always, always be together, George-san.
There was no blessing from God, no pastor to witness, nothing. But the two who were married proclaimed it. Two souls were joined here today.
How pretty. How nice.
What is happening? Where are we still? Okay.
Going somewhere else. Haven't heard from Kinzo in a minute. Oh no.
No! No! Take me back! I want to be happy for but a moment longer. Don't give me him.
Here we go. Nay-san, you're a fool. Wow. Is that so? Even though you're furniture. I'm not furniture. Not anymore. Liar! Why are you fooling yourself? Even though you know you can never become human. Even though you know you can't become human unless you go to the Golden Land. Knowing that, why did you abandon the promise that would let you go there? Oh, right. By accepting the ring, that promise with Beatrice comes to nothing, doesn't it? I'm sorry. From now on, you, George-sama, the Master, and everyone else are under the same conditions. 13 people will be sacrificed. Only 5 people will be invited to the Golden Land. And you rejected one of those places yourself. That's odd. It looks like you're the one with regrets, Kanon-kun. You're the one with regrets, aren't you, Nei-san? You got engaged, right? Even though you knew it was a fate that would never be fulfilled. Yes. I promised that we would always, always be together for eternity. So you know what? In that instant, our eternity was completed. Even if we become sacrifices, it's already completed. So it's okay. Kanon, you're the one who actually has regrets. We're furniture, right? We'll be freed no matter the result. So it doesn't matter whether we go to the Golden Land or not. And yet you're set on going there. You want to become human no matter what, right? Why? Because I want to become human. I've had enough of being furniture. Why? I wanted to fall in love too.
Tears were coming from Kanon's eyes. And he howled.
Nope.
Do it.
I liked Milady. And after seeing Milady that day, I started liking her even more. And when I heard that Milady also liked me, I was really happy. But I'm furniture, and I can't accept Milady's feelings. You're wrong. We may be furniture. We may be less than human. But that doesn't mean that we aren't qualified to love. I thought that if these feelings wouldn't ever come to anything, I'd be better off not having them. I just decided that eventually I'd disappear and that I'd definitely hurt her. No, that's wrong. I was just frightened. I was just afraid, thinking that any love that couldn't be eternal was best avoided. Even though their lives last only a few weeks, cicadas fall in love and then vanish. But you'll never find a cicada that refused to fall in love simply because it ended in a few weeks.
You haven't met Tom.
Ah! Ah!
It seemed that Kanon was still muttering his regrets, but by now, it was all jumbled up with his sobs.
That witch is detestable. Why did she plant these feelings in me? If only she hadn't pulled that bizarre prank, I wouldn't have paid Milady any notice. Beatrice-sama is detestable. To make you cry bitter tears, she played games with your fate. But I don't think things went as the witch expected. After all.
Knowing love isn't a regret that ties you to life. It is the destination we're supposed to reach in our journey through life.
More sentences that go hard from Umineko.
Hi, Beatrice.
Well now, Kanon. That promise you worked so hard for has now come to nothing. Very well then. With this, the conditions for all of the pieces are the same. There are 18 pieces. 13 will be offered as sacrifices.
Who will the 5 survivors be?
Or else, will someone destroy this ceremony? Who? How? This isn't a chess problem. It's a game on an equal footing. I won't be cornering you one-sidedly. You'll be able to frantically escape my advances and force a tie, an invalid match. At any rate, I doubt you can manage more than repeating that over and over, and it probably won't be that difficult for you. However, this invalid match will continue forever, until it eventually wears down your mind and kills it. That is when you'll accept your defeat and surrender to me. There's a reason I said it was a game on an equal footing. That's because rules for my loss have also been established. There's nothing as boring as a game you can't lose, right? As for how to defeat me, that would be the epitaph that stands as an offering to my portrait. It's both the way to open the door to the Golden Land, and the key to destroying my ceremony. I'll try to complete the ceremony in accordance with the epitaph. You'll try to solve the riddle of the epitaph, destroy the ceremony, and overthrow me. Solve the riddle hidden in the epitaph, and expose the location of the vast sum of gold I gave Kinzo. What result will this game show us? I'm expecting a good fight, okay? Entertain me, Ushiromiya battler!
No.
Oh. Have fun.
I have no objections. Natsuhi and I acknowledge it.
I can't believe it. And I don't want to. But this is the truth, isn't it?
Natsuhi, choose your words more carefully. She's this family's most honored guest. I also acknowledge it. Can't argue back.
Yes, I acknowledge it. I have absolutely no complaints. I can't believe you actually... You have my honest respect. Me too. Incredible. I genuinely respect you, so I have to acknowledge it. I acknowledge it too. I still can't believe it. Still, what can I do? You've proven devils. It's your victory.
Oh no, Kyrie?
The devil's proof was a convenient excuse you liked using to handle unprovable matters, but now it's become your mortal enemy, has it not? Don't torture me, mighty witch. I've already acknowledged you. I resign. Kyrie, do you still have objections? I must have everyone in agreement. If you alone will not acknowledge my existence...
As the witch laughed boldly, the siblings started getting frantic. They were afraid of displeasing the witch. Kyrie lightly closed her eyes, and after keeping silent for a while, opened her mouth.
My apologies. I resign.
Only Kyrie had faced the witch with stern eyes until the end. However, this had only resulted in her refusing to accept the truth for a short time. The truth. The being that was before her eyes couldn't be denied. Devils had already been proven. I also acknowledge it. You are Beatrice, the Ushiromiya family alchemist, and a user of great magic. I must acknowledge the fact that you are a witch.
This must hurt her so bad inside.
I knew there was a church. I had forgotten about it, though.
The chapel, yep.
Yeah. So when that CG came up, I was like, oh, yeah. Also, that's a nice church.
It is
It's a
it
nice
not?
family church.
Had lots of pews for one island with
Yeah.
one inhabitant.
Yeah. Where are you taking us now? Oh, mighty witch.
The clock.
Yep, yep.
Bing bonging.
Oh, the epitaph. Let me solve it real quick.
When I make a lot of money, I'm getting like an exact replica of that. I'm getting the marble epitaph and everything. I'm getting the
Okay.
curtains.
So in like 30 years, when I find you in the incinerator of your home,
You'll know what happened.
I'll know what happened.
Oh, we're back. Oh, hey, we might just be... Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's just doing a little like, it does this every once in a while.
Yep.
It just shows everyone.
Worried Rosa. .png. Oh. You would be taking it easy in the break room, poser.
This is the last we're going to see of everyone before they start dying.
Judgmental.
This is what
Genji.
happened in episode 1.
Yeah.
We got a shot of everyone before the deaths started coming.
Look, they're so happy. Where's Dr. Nanjo? Where's Kumasawa? Oh. Wow.
I don't like her looking at me like that. I don't.
Yeah, she was staring.
She wasn't making an expression or nothing.
Where's Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa?
True.
They're unaccounted for. I'm worried for them.
They simply don't exist.
True. They don't exist.
Dang, you said that right before the musical trail. It was like it was confirming it.
Okay, midnight. Where are we going to?
6 a.m.
Okay.
See what we got.
Time for a new day, a new dawn, and I need to lubricate my throat. I think the instrument's sliding down.
The
Oh.
second day, October 5th, 1986. What is that sound that always fills my ears? Is it the sound of the rain? The sound of the waterfall? Or could it be radio static? If not, I want it to be the sound of blood flowing through my body.
I know whoever's yapping is talking about something crazy right now, but I think it'd be so fun. I think on October 4th through 6th, we should do a 48-hour Umineko stream.
Holy sh!
It'd go hard.
We'll get around to that when we get to it.
Oh, it's coming close.
Coming close. Is the
A mere
beginning of the
7
year.
months.
Yeah, 7 months. I want it to be the sound of the blood circulating throughout me, telling me that I am still alive. It would be wild if this was Maria.
True.
Oh, it's
Oh.
Kenzo. That makes sense.
Is it morning?
The light entering through a crack in the curtain was faint, but it at least told him that dawn had broken. Dang, they getting 6 a.m. light over there?
That's what I'm thinking.
In the fall?
In the fall, in the midst of a storm.
Yeah. Still sitting in a chair and looking up at the ceiling. Oh, Kenzo. I had forgotten I hadn't read the first part of the sentence. Kenzo, still in the position he'd been when he woke up. Still sitting in a chair and looking up at the ceiling. Felt the blood slowly travel throughout his body. Man fell asleep in the chair.
He was studying.
Judging by the clock, it was early morning, 6 o'clock, on the dot. No matter how tired he was, no matter how deeply he slept, he always woke up at exactly this time, as though he had measured it with an hourglass.
What?
He didn't think of this as something to boast about, but he told himself that, as long as he could still manage this, his health couldn't be that bad.
Morning has come, which means... It would appear I've avoided becoming one of the first sacrifices. Was I merely lucky when the roulette was spun? Or is this the fruit of my efforts? How irritating that I cannot tell the difference, but I mustn't be bothered by such trivialities.
Kinzo was struck by a faint desire to see beyond the study door. After all, he might find the traces of someone's vain struggle to break through the door. A sign that someone had tried to select him as one of the first 6 sacrifices.
Humans are cheap creatures. Even though everything is ultimately decided by God, when humans are given good fortune, they arrogantly feel it was due to their own ability.
That was why he wanted to check whether there was a wretched mark on the door. The very desire was human. And that was why Kinzo did not check. He often rejected desires that came to him because he was human. He'd be a good monk. By doing that, he could be immersed in a feeling of sufficiency, as though he himself had become a being that surpassed humans. Okay, that wouldn't be good for a monk. He recognized human desires for what they were, and guarded against them. Things that a human would want to do, he resisted. This eccentricity and rebellious nature had surely given him a rare genius, making it possible for him to succeed in his exploits as he revived the Ushiromiya family in a single generation. It do be Umi Tuesday. Let's go.
Alright. Well then, Beatrice. What were the 6 pieces you took? And what will your next move be? Entertain me. My defense is perfect. I will not shame myself like last time. He
Last
knows.
time.
Does he know?
Does he know? Either that or there was another roulette before this one in the timeline.
The Hunger Games? Oh my gosh. Well,
The servants woke early. They had to open the curtains, prepare breakfast, and complete various other tasks to welcome the guests to a new day. Goda was the most enthusiastic.
he made it.
During the family conference, he had been told to concentrate his efforts especially on cooking. And he'd been specially exempted from several tasks that servants normally must do. Goda, who was a show-off, seemed to be feeling particularly superior because of that. He let Genji and the rest prepare the rest of the mansion and worked on making breakfast in the kitchen. Genji split the work with Shannon and Kanon, and they carried out various tasks. Shannon headed to the dining hall and knocked. Last year, the family conference had continued into the early hours of the morning. It wouldn't have been odd if this year's conference had done the same. Considering the possibility that they were still having a discussion inside, she knocked. But there was no response, so she opened the door and said good morning.
So all the servants except Kumasawa are accounted for right now.
Yes.
Good morning. Is anyone there?
The room was cold, and the conference seemed to have ended a long time before. There was a tea set on the table from which they'd probably been drinking, arranged in a way that would make it easy to clean up. Cleaning up the tea was a servant's job. If the family members were extra generous and cleaned it up themselves, the servants would lose face. So it was a truly pleasant act of kindness for the family to do only this much. As she approached the table to clean it, she noticed something like a memo that had been left near the utensils and cups. Since it was right next to the tea set, Shannon picked it up, naturally thinking it was a memo for the servant doing the cleaning. Written there was not a request, nor was it thanks for preparing the tea. There was just a single word. Shannon looked at it blankly and read it out loud.
Chapel. Huh? Scribble again.
A small sound kept repeating over and over. Normally, that sound would have been too trivial to be worth caring about. If only I could stop hearing it soon, I could go back to sleep right away, she thought vaguely. But no matter how much time passed, the sound did not end. It repeated over and over. Ah, shut up. Who is it? Banging on the door this whole time. As soon as she realized that, she woke up. someone was knocking. Then, she noticed that it wasn't just a knock, but a voice as well.
Rosa-sama. Rosa-sama. Good morning.
Wait! I'm coming now.
It had been Genji's voice. Looking at the clock, it wasn't even 7 o'clock yet. It was clearly too early to wake the guests. Did something happen that was bad enough to cause this? She felt her sleepiness increasingly fade thanks to this premonition of misfortune. Though Genji was a servant, Rosa had known him since her childhood days, so even though she was slightly defenseless in her pajamas, she opened the door a crack and answered.
A crack? A crack?
That's a crack. Also the void?
Yeah.
Good morning. I apologize for waking you this early.
Did something happen?
Yes. Actually, at the chapel.
Genji whispered something into Rosa's ear. For a second, it seemed Rosa couldn't understand what she'd been told. After having it repeated several times, she realized that apparently something strange had happened.
Ooh.
Rosa closed her door for a second, changed her clothes quickly, and followed Genji towards the mansion.
Oh, we didn't get Rosa, PJ's,
Sprite?
Sprite. Yeah.
Gonna have to save that for another time.
Yep.
The chapel requires some explanation.
Oh boy.
It wasn't in the mansion, but in a grove behind it, a short walk's distance away. It had been built at the same time as the mansion, so though its walls had been repaired many times, making it look new from the outside, it was a very old building. Rosa dashed through the rain along with Genji. Just like the previous night, the rain was falling in earnest. Eventually, the chapel came into sight from beyond a thin grove. Just looking at it from the outside, it seemed to be a place of dazzling beauty, where a pair of young lovers might want to get married. However, Kinzo apparently viewed it as a very sacred place. So Rosa and her siblings had been given strict instructions not to approach it unnecessarily. Even though they were all grown up now, approaching the chapel for any reason would still make them feel guilty. And also afraid, as if their father might get angry and hit them in the face. The servant silhouettes could be seen in front of the chapel's entrance. Koro, Shannon, and Kanon, which meant that all of the servants on the morning shift had gathered. A short while ago, Genji had spoken to Rosa, telling her what the situation was. However, without laying eyes on it directly, she definitely hadn't been able to understand. It was probably the same for all the servants gathered here as well. Without seeing it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have been able to understand what was going on. Alright, who's dead?
It's back.
On the door at the entrance to the chapel was something very large, drawn with a creepy, stringy paint that made one think of blood. Something like a creepy magic circle.
Whoa. What is this? When was it drawn here?
The servants looked at each other. Koro was the first to open his mouth. He would.
My apologies. We don't usually enter this building, so we don't know when it was made.
Then who was the first person to find it? It was me. When I went to the dining hall to clean up the tea set, I found a memo with chapel written on it.
Shannon held out the memo with a shaking hand.
Whose handwriting is it? It isn't Nissan's or Nasan's. So, after that, you came here and found this, right? Yes. Rosa-sama, look at this. What? Happy Halloween for... What?
Kanon pointed at a single line of English written below the creepy magic circle. Until it had been pointed out to her, she thought it was just another part of the magic circle. There, the following words were written in English. Happy Halloween for Maria. Happy Halloween for Maria. This creepy magic circle was for Maria. Happy Halloween. Yesterday, only one person had said Happy Halloween to Maria. The key phrase matched. It was the Golden Witch Beatrice.
What about Maria? She should be sleeping with her cousins, right? Did you check?
My apologies. We just now realized that Maria-sama's name was written here. We still have not checked. Quickly.
What are you doing? I'll go check on Maria and come back. Tell Kraus Nissan and the rest, too. After that, follow their instructions.
After saying that much, Rosa finally noticed that something was odd. Her own rank in this family conference was the lowest of the four siblings. Why had she been the only one called during an abnormal situation like this when the other siblings hadn't been? Even if Maria's name had popped up.
Could it be... Huh? What?
Yes. We tried to contact Kraus-sama, but we couldn't find him.
And Madam was not in her room. Judging by the condition of the sheets, she might not have returned to her bed at all last night.
Rosa felt something creepy crawling slowly up her back. It was Kanon.
It was Maria. Did you check inside the chapel? No, not yet. We tried, but...
Actually, the lock to the chapel is special, so the master key will not work. There is a single key that can open it, but that key is missing from the key box.
She didn't want to get closer to the door with the creepy magic circle if she could. Rosa readied herself and approached, and then tried pushing and pulling the knob. All she felt was the resistance of the sturdy lock.
We searched to see if there was a window we could enter through, but... I think we'd have to break one of the windows if we wanted to check inside. What do you think? There's no way I can give you approval to do something like that. This is Father's precious chapel.
At that time, the events of the previous day swirled around in the back of Rosa's mind. That's right. When I met with that witch in the rose garden, didn't she hand Maria an envelope? Yeah, there's no mistake. She did hand it over. And when Maria tried to open it, the witch told her not to do it yet, and then she surely said, "The time to open that will come soon." Rosa was sure. There could be no mistake. The envelope Maria had received was the key.
Kagida. We're running.
After dashing back to the guest house, Rosa approached the cousin's room while hiding her footsteps.
True, you have no idea, to our person in the chat. I tried to run this once and I had to come up with a reason why now the master key doesn't work for this door.
Rosa approached the cousin's room while hiding her footsteps, softly opened the door, and peered inside. From the inside, she could hear the healthy snores typical of young people.
What?
There were 4 children. Okay. And Maria was there,
What
sleeping
about the doctor?
soundly.
Is he safe? Is he alright?
After breathing a sigh of relief, she entered the room with quiet footsteps. She was after Maria's handbag, which was resting on the sofa. Maria always liked carrying her treasures around with her. She was probably emulating how her mother always carried her makeup with her. Of course, she was just imitating her mother, so everything on the inside was junk. In Maria's case, it was full of small, creepy occult items, notebooks describing things of that nature, and so on. Rosa had never been happy to see her daughter walking around with things like that, which weren't girlish at all. However, trying to force Maria to stop had resulted in a big fight, so she decided to let it be.
The umbrella.
Yeah. Here. This is it.
This is what?
The letter. Ah!
A western envelope with the crest of the gold eagle. When she took it out of the bag, she realized there was a heavy, vaguely cylindrical object inside. She could tell by its feel and its weight. There was no doubt. This was a key. After turning around and checking that Maria was still sound asleep, Rosa tore open the envelope, and the contents spilled out into her palm. It was a key with an old and intricate design. Rosa gripped that key and dashed out. Battler seemed to have noticed that sound, but after grumbling and turning over in his sleep, he started snoring again.
Me too. I'd be doing the same thing if I have a home invader. Genji-san, could this key be the key to the chapel?
Where did you... Yes, this is the key to the chapel.
Rosa approached the creepy magic circle once again and put the key in the keyhole. How lewd. There was a strong resistance, even lewder. After it resisted for a short while, it stopped resisting with a clunk. Its
I have no
virginity has been
words.
taken.
I...
Then, squeaking with a noise that hurt one's ears, it slowly began to open. This is just like... I'm done with the...
Okay.
I'll stop.
I was gonna say.
I'll stop.
Oh. Is anyone there?
Her voice reverberated throughout the massive room. Of course, there was no answer.
Of course.
The chapel had a high ceiling, and the air was cold. And, even on this rainy day, unsettling day, it felt sacred for some reason. The servants timidly followed after Rosa.
Rosa-sama, look at that.
Kanon noticed it immediately and pointed. Over there was the altar. In the place that would normally have a pastor preaching of God's love, there was a table that shouldn't have been there. At first, it looked like a dining table. There actually were gorgeous plates and utensils placed there, making it look like a child's birthday party or something.
Yay.
Upon closer inspection, the surrounding area had been decorated with pumpkins and black and orange ribbons. They were probably Halloween decorations. And there were people seated at the table. 3 people on each side, facing each other, seated in chairs. They could be recognized at a glance. Kraus and his wife, Eva and her husband, and Rudolph and his wife. So it's all the adults this time.
Mm-hmm.
Save Rosa.
Except Rosa. Yep.
Because she doesn't have a husband.
Mm-hmm.
But if you wanted to be sure, you'd still have to go even closer and check. Because they seemed almost like dolls.
Ningyo mitai ni.
Rosa and the rest had opened the door, entered all at once with the sound of many footsteps, and called out, asking if anyone was there. And yet there had been no reaction. Even if Rosa and the rest assumed they were being ignored, you'd still expect there to be some kind of reaction. And there hadn't been even that. So at first, it felt like someone had set down some dolls that generally resembled those people. By now, it wasn't just Rosa. Shannon and Kanon, and even Goda. They were all fighting frantically with the creepy emotion that grasped their hearts. Not Genji, though, apparently.
He's chilling. Ni-san? Ne-san?
As she walked towards the altar, she called out again, but there was no reaction. Yes, by now Rosa was sure of it. She was sure these weren't dolls, but the people themselves.
This is... I don't...
They grew close enough to see clearly what lay on the table. It still looked like an adorable banquet reminiscent of a child's birthday party, but they're all going to be gouged and spilled out everywhere. I see blood.
Where? I don't see any blood.
Plates piled up with sweets, cute pitchers with drinks, all kinds of pumpkin-shaped ornaments. They were all decorated in a Halloween style. And while this probably wasn't the first time to be thinking it, Maria would surely have been delighted to see all this. That was the state of the table they sat in front of, apparently asleep. Yeah, asleep, right.
They're tired.
It was an eerie scene, as though a small, fun-looking Halloween party had been stopped in time.
They're all... sleeping? Huh?
When she approached even closer to them, she realized that there were snacks scattered all over the floor. Candies, cookies, soda, and chocolates, all with heavily fantasy-themed packaging. They were all scattered across a carpet covered with blackberry and cranberry jam. Yeah.
Keep cooking. What? Never mind.
Rosa and the rest finally realized what the situation was.
Grab me this CG just in case. I like this one. It's scary.
This music!
Yeah, this is a new one. I gotta know. I need to know.
And the cross above them during this. Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah.
I like this symbolism. It was a Halloween party. A banquet for those not of this world. Kraus, Natsu, Eva, Hideyoshi, Rudolph, and Kyrie were seated in chairs, apparently asleep, but all dead.
I think I found it. I think it's Red Dread.
So I'm assuming Rosa pulled Eva and Hideyoshi and was like, I'm gonna go back to my room for the night because I'm tired.
Maybe.
Because she was here in the scene earlier.
She was, in fact, here.
How could you tell that they were dead and not simply sleeping? That was because they'd been vertically sliced open from their chests to their stomachs.
Yucky.
Why she gotta be so visceral about it?
Kraus, or not, wrong sibling. I was wondering why he was so concerned for a minute. I was like, he would not. He would never. Kraus-sama! There we go. That's more like him. How cruel.
The six of them had sat down at a Halloween party before having their stomachs split open, killing them. Then the jam covering the floor must be what overflowed from their stomachs once they'd stuffed themselves completely, right? Yeah, sure.
No!
The contents of their stomachs had been scattered all over the floor. And that wasn't all. Out of their stomachs, it was almost as though they'd poured out. As though snacks had overflown from there. What? No, what?
True.
Candies and cookies, soda and chocolates
What did soda do?
had poured out, stained with blood, and had scattered across the floor. Just because the word chocolate is in here, it made me think of this. I went on a tangent the other night and looked it up. Did you know solid chocolate came after chocolate milk?
No, but
Chocolate milk
Okay.
came first. Yeah, no, I just thought it was a fun little factoid anyways. What could have happened to cause this? It's almost as though their stomachs were stuffed full to bursting with sweets. Or
that kinda makes
perhaps
sense now that I think
was
about it.
or perhaps it was just arranged to look that way. After they were cut open,
nuh-uh.
and it all poured out when their stomachs split open.
Cool.
I mean, it's pretty clear that Beatrice doesn't have much qualm working with gory scenes, so... Rosa remembered a certain shocking meal. A turkey that had been served at her own birthday. What?
Turkey birthday. Birthday turkey.
When it had been cut open with a knife, out flowed one of her favorite foods. But since she hadn't been told what was inside, the deep red ketchup omelet rice poured out like bloody maggots. Ew! Pulsing, dripping, slimy, pulpy, squelching.
That must be traumatizing.
What
Oh, gosh,
visceral
here we go.
wording.
Yeah!
I feel like I want to imagine that Kenzo was extremely amused by that when it happened on her birthday.
True. He orchestrated it.
He orchestrated it! Kenzo! The trauma of her youth. Oh, the trauma of her youth! Not this scene of seeing all of her siblings sliced open, murdered.
She was kind of hoping for that, I think.
The trauma of her youth was revived. Rosa felt a monster raging inside her stomach as the acid started to rise. Unable to hold back, she threw it all up on the floor.
Dylan image.
Her empty stomach had nothing but stomach acid. The scene in front of her was no fun Halloween party now. Now? I don't think it was the entire time. The three couples were enshrined right there, their stomachs vertically wrenched open. Wrenched open with a...
Go ahead.
Goodbye. So many snacks had been stuffed in there. Pulpy, squishy. What?
Squidgy.
What? Rosa, your dang description is
She's
awful.
tweaking right now.
Blood and guts and sweets were overflowing onto the floor. Blood-stained, sticky, sloppy, pulpy, sweet snacks that made your fingers stick together. Gummy, but stained with entrails, sloppy, pulpy. What was that I stepped on just now? That didn't feel like a candy or a cookie or soda or chocolate.
I don't know the implications of what our chatter just said about this scene. I don't.
I'm scared. What did I step on? I can't even look at the bottom of my foot. Oh, I can't.
There you go.
What a gruesome Halloween party.
Now we're back in the thick of it.
From far away, it had looked truly beautiful, fantastical, and fun. But from up close, it was horrible, disgusting, and yet somehow still beautiful.
Art exhibit moment. Oh, back to me. Oh, okay, hold on. Ah!
Rosa's wild thoughts tried as best they could to escape her throat with a loud voice that was neither a scream nor a roar. Gross summer.
This is horrible. Just horrible.
Call an ambulance! Call the police!
That's right! The police! Police, 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 police!
And now Rosa's gonna be thrust into the authority position.
She's the Nazi.
This is gonna be a shit show. If a word so tied to reality hadn't come out of Koro's mouth, Rosa and the rest would probably have found themselves unable to escape that nightmarish party even now. But it wasn't because they thought the police might be able to do something. If they didn't keep yelling about the police, it felt as though another seat might be set up at the demons' party and given to them. Their own chests felt like they were expanding unpleasantly from the inside, rumbling, churning, and it was surely because candy was about to overflow from their stomachs. Rosa, once again tortured by a desire to vomit, threw her stomach acid up on the floor. And then she searched to see if there was any candy in it.
Gotta double check.
Oh wait, that's you.
That's me. Anyway.
Rosa coughed violently again, forcefully spitting out the stomach acid that had been burning in her throat. She realized that by now, her whole body had been covered in a filthy sweat.
Genji-san, Shannon-chan, please contact father and ask for instructions. Koro-san, go with Kanon-kun and call the police. Then have Dr. Nanjo come here.
Why even bring Dr. Nanjo here? It's a bit too late for medical care.
Dang.
The servants accepted their orders and dashed outside. After watching them leave, Rosa once again stared at her siblings, with whom she'd spent good times and bad, and their partners. Though there could be nothing more tragic than this scene, for some reason, she was tempted to describe these fantastical deaths as beautiful.
Well, there you have it.
Woo-wee.
So the people, the ones between both times that died on the first Twilight are Kraus, Rudolph, and Kyrie.
Okay. God,
Just
we
out
don't
of
get any love for
curiosity.
them. Not yet. They aren't here. Where'd they go? The servant room and the kitchen are both empty. What in the world happened? Ooh! Mama! Where's Mama? My letter! The letter I got from Beato! Give it back! Give it back!
This is really funny on Discord. I'm not hearing any. Okay. Perplexing. Battler-kun, are you sure it was Aunt Rosa?
Well, even I was half asleep, so I'm not too sure. But I get the feeling that in the early morning, Aunt Rosa came in and fished around in Maria's handbag. I figured there was probably a tube of toothpaste or something in there. Why would there be a tube of toothpaste in Maria's handbag? Looks like you were a little more than half asleep. Badler vaguely remembered Rosa entering the cousins' room. Also, when Maria woke up before the rest of them, she'd started rampaging around, saying that someone had opened the envelope she'd been keeping safe. Putting two and two together, they figured that Rosa had probably come and opened the envelope. A letter from the Golden Witch. I wonder what was inside.
I don't know. But that envelope was for grandfather's personal use and had the Ushiromiya family crest on it. Whatever was inside it must have had some connection to the family conference.
She hadn't let anyone touch it, but yesterday, Maria had shown that envelope off to Badler and the rest a whole lot. So they remembered it well. Mama, give it back! Mama, give it back! Well, if you're right, It had to be pretty important. Why would this mighty witch give something that important to Maria? I don't get it. Every once in a while, the refreshing morning atmosphere was completely wiped out by the sound of thunder. It was only natural. Since the moment they'd woken up, they hadn't met anyone else. It felt like only they were left, as if the mansion had become an empty husk. Hey! Anyone there? Oh, hey!
There you go.
Anyone there? Answer me! Jessica called out into the hallway, and eventually, an answer came back. It came from the entrance hall.
I can hear you.
He's alive.
Has something happened?
Please give me pajama sprite Nanjo. Oh well.
He sleeps nude.
Oh no. Well, it's a good thing it cuts off from like the waist down.
Yeah.
Unless we go to the special menu, but anyway. It's Dr. Nanjo. Thank goodness.
Yeah, you won't be saying that once you see him.
It looks like everyone but us hasn't disappeared from this island after all.
Dr. Nanjo, good morning. Sorry, but do you know where our parents went?
Dear me. I only just woke up and came here, you see. I have no way of knowing for sure, but let's see. I am Dr. Seuss today, apparently.
It was only natural. Nanjo was a guest, just like the rest of them. He'd come just now to pass the time in the parlor until breakfast.
Dr. Nanjo, Mama took it. Mama took my letter. Give it back, give it back.
Maria buried her face in Nanjo's plump stomach, sobbing and crying. Dang. Nanjo interaction. He's had a strange amount of interactions with Maria this episode.
Yeah, he's, getting a chance here to be a character.
Nanjo could do nothing but be bewildered by this ruckus so early in the morning. Someone's running this way. Jessica! Someone's coming! From down the hall, they could sense people running hurriedly. They saw Goda and Kanon coming towards them. Normally, it would be disgraceful for a servant to run inside the mansion, and yet Badler and the rest didn't even think to question that now. Maria's sobbing had become so unmanageable, they wanted to ask someone, anyone, where Rosa was.
I would kill to watch one of them just wipe out running down the hallway.
But the two servants seemed to have bigger things on their minds than Jessica, who was waving at them. Goda flew into the servant room, and when Kanon noticed that Nanjo was there, he bowed and approached the doctor at a quick pace before whispering something into his ear.
What did you say? Rosa-san did?
Yes. I will guide you, so please accompany me.
Understood.
This way.
Without saying anything more than that, Kanon finally noticed Jessica and bowed to her.
Hi.
But he wasn't calm. He dashed back down the corridor by which he had come, followed by Nanjo. By looking at how hurried they were, Badler and the rest realized that yes, something bad really had happened. They saw Goda through the door to the servant room, which had been flung open. He was holding the receiver and violently pressing the hook. From that, they realized he was trying to call a hospital or the police. In any event, he was trying to call someone because a serious emergency had occurred. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Mama, give it back. Give back my letter. It's an invitation to the Golden Land.
Oh.
They didn't know what, but something was happening. Badler and the rest chased after Kanon and Nanjo. And then we realized. Kanon-kun had called Dr. Nanjo, but he hadn't called us, so we shouldn't have gone with them. I wonder if Alice regretted her excess curiosity when she chased after that rabbit holding a clock.
No, you mustn't go in. You mustn't look. Jessica-chan. No.
Am I gonna have to scream again?
Reminiscent. Remind you. Yep.
No!
Now we have this classic one. Mother! Father! What happened? Oh!
What the hell is this? This goes way beyond bad taste. Isn't taking someone's life bad enough? What the hell is this? Going to all the trouble after they died of sitting them on chairs, slicing their stomachs and pulling their entrails out? You went all the trouble of stuffing their stomachs full of sweets? Why? Why the hell would you do something so fucked up? Damn it! Damn it! Nice job, you bastard. Just great. Just great. Grrr!
It would be best if everyone went outside. They certainly wouldn't want you all to see them like this.
Nanjo told the children to go outside, but no one listened.
Rosa-san, please, tell them. If they keep looking at something like this, it will do nothing but harm.
Rosa regretted her own carelessness. She should have realized that the children would eventually come here. She should have quickly locked up instead of standing around stunned. So the children had come here. They had seen it. Surely, at this very moment, they were having a sight burned into their eyes that was far more grotesque than the shocking meal Rosa had witnessed in her youth. While she hugged Maria, who seemed to be too shocked to show any emotion at this gruesome scene, Rosa cried for them and their parents. The four groaning and crying voices, their sadness, continued to echo in a place that should have known God's love. You piece of crap!
Oh, here we go.
Again? Another one of these murders? And this time you made it all elaborate, killing them like it's a total joke.
I was rather hoping you'd thank me, not cry out in grief.
Thank you? Did you say I should thank you, you old bitch? Damn it! If there's something wrong with your ears, I'll cut them both off so you can hear better. Why should I have to see that insane way of killing and say, "Oh, thank you very much, Beatrice-sama. I'll beat your brains out"?
In the last game, yeah, here we go. You lamented the fact that you couldn't see your parents' faces after they died, yes? So this time I left them. Didn't touch them. Take a good look, for without a doubt, your father and the rest have been killed.
Really? What a nice treat. I'm so fucking happy. I swore I'd plow your face after I choked the life out of you, but I'll take that back now. I'll rip out your guts instead.
Don't give in to emotion. Don't stop thinking. My game has already begun, right? I decided to leave you neat and tidy corpses this time. Do you know why? When you denied my existence in the last game, you used this line of thinking. Their faces were crushed, so the identity of the corpses can't be confirmed. Therefore, we can't eliminate the possibility that fake corpses were prepared to create an alibi. Unless that possibility is denied, a human culprit theory can still be built.
What did you say?
So, Battler, is it okay to leave the examination of the corpses to Nanjo? Isn't it traditionally in mystery novels for the doctor who performs such examinations to be an accomplice? Then don't leave the examination to him. Do it yourself. Make completely sure that without a doubt the 6 corpses are the 6 people they're supposed to be. That they really, really are dead, not just pretending. If you wish to confirm that your father and mother have been killed by having their stomachs cut open and their entrails pulled out, you'd better stick your hands inside their stomachs and feel around.
Mother?
I won't cry. Damn it. Damn it, I won't cry! Badler suddenly yelled. His tears were dripping down, but as though scolding him for being a sissy, he slapped his face hard several times with both hands. Even so, the tears still wouldn't stop. However, he felt a hot blaze in both his eyes. Whoever's responsible for this piece of work, I'll make them pay back their debt completely. So this isn't the time to cry. I gotta think about what to do. It's useless. It's all useless. If you've got enough time to cry, then think. This isn't the time to let yourself cry. Rather than genuine anger, maybe it was more of an evasive anger to blot out his sadness. However, it gave a little courage to George and Jessica, who'd been crushed by their sadness.
That's right. Even if we cry, it won't change the reality of what has happened.
Damn it! 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 Then what should we do? What should I do? For Mom and Dad's sakes!
Rosa-sama, I have returned.
Koda-san, what happened with the police? What did they say to do? Did they say when they think they'll be able to get here?
As to that, it seems the phones have broken down. I also tried the emergency wireless, but, maybe it's the weather. But that isn't working either.
What did you say? So we can't contact the police?
It's that person! They did something to the phone line. They made it so we can't reach the cops. When she heard that the phones had broken down, Jessica immediately decided that it was the work of that mysterious guest. Her eyes were bright red after so much crying, and they began to grow even redder with rage. Gah, there's no need to talk about it, right? I understand everything. That's right, I get it. Who killed Dad and Mom? It's obviously her. It's gotta be that witch or whatever who came yesterday. I'll grab her by the collar. Damn it, damn it, damn it!
Jessica-chan! Wait! Koda-san, Kanon-kun, go! That's still me. That's crazy. Yes, ma'am.
Milady, wait!
It's like it jump scared me.
Covering her uncontrollable sadness with anger, Jessica ran outside, torn apart by emotion. Thinking about it hastily, maybe the mystery guest who'd arrived yesterday, Beatrice, was suspicious. However, in that instant, there was absolutely no proof that she was the culprit. At this moment, she's just another guest, no more, no less. So Rosa, making an adult decision, was forced to stop Jessica in her rash rampage. Koda and Kanon picked up on this immediately and chased after her.
Could the guest that no one invited Beatrice be the culprit?
I understand how Jessica feels. I wish I could think that too. It doesn't matter who. I want someone to be the culprit so I can bash them right in the face. But before that, we need a clear understanding of what's going on. Who is this Beatrice? I haven't even seen her face.
There she goes again.
If you're looking for her face, it decorates the big portrait in the mansion. You still don't remember after looking at it for so long?
Come on, Maria. What's so funny in a situation like this?
Beatrice is a witch,
Dang.
and the ceremony to open the door to the Golden Land has finally begun. Those 6 people are sacrifices. Come, let us begin the witches' banquet. Tonight is Halloween, so the witches will gather to celebrate.
Yeah. Maria, don't I always tell you not to laugh with that creepy voice? Shabba do it to him.
The crisp sound of Rosa slapping Maria's cheek echoed through the high-ceilinged chapel. Ever since it started raining yesterday. No. Ever since the island was swallowed by the typhoon, I felt as though something was wrong. It was bright and sunny when I arrived on Rokenjima, but since I'd gotten up early and was sleepy, I took a nap.
Dang. Mars.
When I woke up, it had already started raining. And ever since that time, suddenly, a mysterious visitor calling herself the Golden Witch Beatrice arrived, and it felt like I was sinking bit by bit into a bizarre world. What the heck happened while I was napping? Am I supposed to believe this island was sealed off inside a different world where common sense doesn't apply? Yes.
Maybe.
Who is this person called Beatrice? Is some unknown person trying to involve themselves with the inheritance problem, just like our parents were freaking out about at dinner last night? Or is the culprit this witch from the Legend of the Gold, just like Maria said? Even if we set Jessica's temper aside, given the circumstances, it's probably safe to say that this visitor person is the most suspicious. But we mustn't make up our minds based on that alone. It's useless, it's all useless. Sorry about my yawn. I smacked my face with both hands again, cooling off my brains before they overloaded. Even though it might have been a wasted effort.
This is one of Grandfather's envelopes.
On a tray piled up with sweets that decorated the table, George Aniki found a Western envelope that had the Ushiromio family crest done on it in gold leaf. And it was unopened. Which means it's probably meant for us, right? If it was something Dad and the others read, it should be open.
It seems your reasoning is correct. It's written right here. Someone wrote, "To those who remain." Is that a letter the culprit left? What's inside?
Aniki, let's open it. After nodding silently, George Aniki broke the seal. A folded letter came out.
I'll read it. Welcome to Rokenjima, members of the Ushiromiya family. I am Beatrice, the alchemist for this family, employed by Kinzo-sama himself.
That letter really was a joke. This Beatrice, who called herself the family alchemist, had announced that she was collecting the gold she'd lent Grandfather along with interest. Man, where have I seen this before? And that interest was everything Grandfather had created. Since this tragedy was right before our eyes as this paragraph was being read aloud, it clearly wasn't referring to just the wealth that Grandfather had built up. It was literal. Everything that Grandfather had created. In other words, all of Grandfather's descendants were included in the interest. You bastard. What a screwed up contract. Lives as interest for gold, you say? That's almost like a contract with the devil, isn't it? You think that makes you look more like a witch? Huh! Don't make me laugh.
Special clause. However, if someone is able to discover the hidden gold of this contract, Beatrice must abandon these rights for all time. Kinzo-sama has already publicly displayed the location of the hidden gold within the epitaph under my portrait. In other words, it's something like this. If these murders represent her collecting interest, then she's telling us to try and find the gold she gave grandfather if we want her to stop. She's also saying that the secret pointing to the gold is hidden in the portrait epitaph.
So basically, this is a letter of challenge from the witch. She's trying to tell us to try and solve the code that points to the hidden gold if we can. And if we can't, she'll keep collecting the interest as planned. I'll beat you to death. Bring it on!
Battler-kun! Look, look!
The table was covered with sweets. So even though those things were right out in the open, we just assumed they were sweets too. I mean, come on. You see them a lot, right? You know, those boxes of chocolate shaped like gold ingots. This is no box of candy. It's the real thing. This is a real gold bar.
It's inscribed with the crest of the one-winged eagle. I heard Mother talking about this earlier. This is a gold bar from Grandfather's Legend of the Gold.
Gold ingots weighing a full 10 kilograms. A whole 3 of them were piled up in the very center of the table. It was where a cake would be placed if it were a birthday party. In other words, this was without a doubt the birthday cake of the party known as the family conference. I hate you.
What? If these are really 4 nines quality ingots. Go. It's worth about 60 million yen.
Dumbass! That's too cheap. Our parents have been killed, and all you've got is this pile of just 60 million yen in gold? Don't take us for fools, damn it!
So it has begun, Beatrice. It's not like anyone can solve this riddle anyways. So Beato will definitely win. Quickly, open the door to the Golden Land and take me with you.
Oh,
Whew!
why don't we go check in on that there, Jessica?
It is 6:43. The clock is not moving.
It's 6:53 in real world time.
Oh, wow. Dang, look at that.
Oh, this is why, because we're just no time pass. Milady, please calm yourself.
We still don't know who the culprit is. And Beatrice-sama is an important and honored guest of the Masters.
So what? If we grab her by the collar, she'll definitely confess. If I can just look her in the eye, I'll know. I'll see through her. A witch? Beatrice? Yeah, right. I'll expose her. Jessica never stopped moving. Koro and Kanon chased after her, doing their best to convince her to stop, but Jessica never lent them an ear. Eventually, the witch's VIP room came into view. This VIP room was always sealed and never used. No matter what kind of guest came, Kinzo wouldn't let them in there. And yet, The servants were always made to clean this room so that it could be used at any time. So the servants had started calling this room the Witch's VIP room, after their second, shapeless master. Jessica knew about this too, and she couldn't forgive the arrogance of the one who called herself a witch by staying in that room. The Golden Witch was just a fairy tale. Come on, a witch? To Jessica, she was nothing more or less than the murderer who had brutally killed her parents. Question her, hear her pitiful excuses, make her splutter in pain, gasp in anguish. No matter how hard she pretends to be a witch, I'll teach her that she's just a stinking, sweaty human.
Sweaty.
As Jessica yelled with all her strength, she hit the door to the VIP room. It definitely wasn't a knock. That sound was the beating of her anger's hammer, as if she was determined to break the door down if it wasn't opened. Open up, Beatrice! Come out! You hear me, right? Open up! There was no answer. Jessica grabbed the doorknob without any reservation, but she felt the resistance of the lock. She turned around to look at the two servants and spoke. The master key will unlock this, right? Use it!
Milady, that would be horribly rude.
Although Koro was flustered, he still tried to somehow calm Jessica's anger. After hanging his head silently for a while, Kanon pulled a master key from his jacket pocket.
Kanon-san, are you sure?
Yes. I'm fully aware it would be rude if she happens to be in there. At any rate, if Beatrice had nothing to do with that incident, all she has to do is give us a satisfying explanation.
That's right. Exactly. Let me borrow that. Jessica snatched the master key from Kanon's hand and violently shoved it into the keyhole. Immediately, there was a small sound, and she felt the lock click. Then, without asking permission, she flung the door open. Beatrice! Where are you? Come out! Jessica rudely stepped into the room. The witch wasn't anywhere to be seen. That bitch! She's not here! Where the hell did she go?
Yes, she doesn't seem to be here.
Jessica, thinking she might be hiding somewhere inside the room, peeked behind the curtains and under the bed, but she couldn't find anyone. La la. However,
Wow.
there definitely were signs that the bed had been used. And though it was only a vague sense, the atmosphere in the room felt a little soft. It wasn't the hard atmosphere of a place normally devoid of people, like the chapel. You could definitely tell that someone had spent the night in this room. But she could not be seen. In reality, neither Jessica nor Goda had met Beatrice. They had only been told by those who had met her that she looked like a double of the character in that portrait. So they were doubtful about what her face really looked like. However, Kanon alone had met her. He understood what kind of being that witch was, what kind of personality she had. So he knew that forcing their way in here in search for her definitely wouldn't work out. She must be watching us bitterly flail about in vain from somewhere, sneering at us. She's that kind of person. Because he was looking at things that way, Kanon was the first to find it. The other two were concentrated on finding the shadow of a person, so they didn't notice. Near a water jug on the side table, there was a single sheet of letter paper. On it was a short message, and nearby was a fountain pen, which had probably been used to write it. Kanon had already come to understand the witch. After finding the corpses, they had been overcome by rage and barged in here, only to find no one. So of course the witch would mock them. You can't mock someone unless they know they're being mocked. So in other words, that's what this must be.
Milady, there's something written here.
Something written? What? Jessica dashed over and violently snatched the piece of paper away. She probably wasn't trying to be violent. She just couldn't control her strength right now. What the? Don't fuck with me. As soon as she read the message, Jessica went into a wild rage, crumpled up the paper, and threw it. Dang.
Yeah.
Then she grabbed a light stand by the bedside and violently swung it around, mercilessly hitting the walls and furniture with it. The light bulbs all shattered at once, and the fragments were scattered across the room.
Milady, please calm down. You'll hurt yourself.
Let go! Damn it! Damn it! Come out, Beatrice! How could you do that to Mom and Dad? You think you scare me? I'll kill you! I'll kill you! I'll beat you to death, so show yourself! I told you to let go of me, damn it! This was written on the paper.
Did you think I'd be that senile to just sit around here waiting for you to come barging in? You're way too inelegant for this intellectual night. I can only imagine what the parents who raised you to be such a moron must have looked like. All right, I saw them, and they looked just as moronic as you. Now their bellies are full in the land of sweets.
It was the sort of thing that witch would write. It meant she'd predicted that one of the children who'd lost their parents would come running in here. If she's hiding somewhere in this room, she must be rolling around laughing now. The witch was that kind of person. She sneered at people's misfortune, using it to stave off the boredom of 1,000 years.
Hand it over. I'm telling you, you'll hurt yourself.
I told you to let go! Damn it! Damn it!
The fact she's putting him to work right now.
God! Goda snatched away the light stand Jessica had been holding. After all, if she kept swinging it around, she might end up smashing it against something which could cause serious injury. To Goda's eyes, Jessica probably looked mad with rage, burning herself up with the flames of anger. But Kanon's eyes saw it differently. Those were probably tears of sadness hidden by rage. So, when the light stand was taken from Jessica, when she started crying on the floor, scratching at the carpet, almost as though she was groveling, Goda was surprised, but Kanon was not. Of course. She had lost her means of crying by lashing out in rage. Dad, Mom. Considering that she was a daughter of the Ushiromiya head family, she was in a very shabby state. She scratched at the carpet with her fingernails, and even her feet were scratching. Jessica cried very, very hard. Because if she didn't, her rage would start building up again and swallow her up. But over and over again, she remembered that humiliating message. I can only imagine what the parents who raised you to be such a moron must have looked like. Don't you call them morons. Both Dad and Mom were smart. Unlike me, they were really smart. Don't you call them morons. Take it back. Take it back. Oh, right. I saw them, and they look just as moronic as you. Now their bellies are full in the land of sweets. Ah! Damn it! I'll kill her. I'll kill her. I'll slice open her stomach and see how she likes it. As Jessica cried and screamed, she triggered an asthma attack. The servants watching over her hurriedly ran up to her and rubbed her back, but that only provoked Jessica's wrath. The hell? If you got the time to do that, search for that bastard. Find him and bring him here. If you won't go, I will. And I'll kill him with my own hands. I'll slice open her stomach. Don't touch me! Damn it! Damn it! Jessica got up unsteadily as her asthma continued, and she went out into the hallway.
Milady, your medicine! Quickly! I will call Dr. Nanjo.
Goda-san, would you leave this to me?
Kanon had noticed. Goda, who was vastly separated from her in age, probably couldn't sense the tears in Jessica's heart. Kanon, who had noticed, had to be the one to support her.
Kanon-san, are you sure?
I believe Milady needs some time to cry right now, considering that she saw her parents killed like that.
You're right.
Goda also understood, and he knew that Jessica and Kanon had shared a vague relationship with each other. So he understood everything, and left it to Kanon.
Very well. I will go back to Rosa-sama. Please, take care of Milady.
Yes. Leave it to me.
Kanon's voice was frail, but he nodded firmly. After looking at his eyes, Goda nodded firmly as well. Goda was a veteran, with many years behind him. He'd seen a great number of people in his life, so he knew the vigorous sparkle that could be found in the eyes of those that possessed self-control. He had surely seen that in Kanon's eyes. So he would leave this to Kanon. When you think about it, maybe this was the first time Goda had ever trusted Kanon and relied on him for a job. Jessica, still suffering from her asthma, seemed to be heading towards her room, though she kept leaning against the wall. Kanon followed her wordlessly. If she had asked for a hand, he would have leapt forward and supported her. But until Jessica did ask for that, he chose to hide himself, watching over her from a distance where he could come to her rescue at any time. When people feel their hearts are about to explode from sadness and want to have someone by their sides, you can bet 10 billion of them would want to turn around and find someone in the place Kanon now stood, as he watched over Jessica from behind. Then, finally, she doubled over in front of the door to her room. The asthma attack had stolen all of her strength, and her thoughts had gotten hazy from the lack of oxygen, making it impossible to even stand up again. But right then, Jessica didn't think she wanted someone to lend a hand. She still hadn't been able to overcome the flames of anger. Even if someone had offered her a hand with good intentions, Jessica would have wanted to tear it off right then. She knew how unfair that would be. so she definitely wouldn't ask for help until she overcame the fiery anger burning inside her. Jessica had probably lost the willpower even to call for help, but Kanon heard it. He definitely heard it. Kanon definitely heard that voiceless call for help, one shared by miserable grievers the world round, an endless scream that no one ever seems to hear. Kanon quietly knelt by Jessica's side and wordlessly offered her a shoulder. Though Jessica kept coughing painfully, she accepted it, unlocked the door to her room, and entered.
This way. I'll prepare your medicine right away.
Jessica often said that when her asthma got serious enough, it hurt so bad that it felt like she'd vomit up her whole stomach. Her face was pale, her gaze wavered, and yet her coughing continued. Even so, her sadness was probably even stronger. After having her sit on the bed, Kanon took a bronchodilator from the cute little basket on a nearby side table and handed it to her. Jessica sometimes forgot to take her medicine with her. Whenever this seemed to have happened, Kanon would take notice and secretly carry around the inhaler from the first aid kit in the servant room, but he hadn't done so today. He scolded himself, as though wondering how he could call himself furniture after failing to bring it with him on a day like this. Then he remembered the day when he'd used that word and somehow betrayed Jessica's feelings. It jarred Kanon's heart, but he felt it would be indiscreet to think about something like that, considering how Jessica felt now, and he locked it up inside the depths of his heart. When she inhaled her medicine, Jessica's wild breathing calmed down a bit, and she was finally able to regain her composure. But she'd lost too much strength and willpower to get up from the bed.
Are you all right, milady?
I'm all right. I'm all messed up over Mom and Dad, but after I cry a bit more, I'll be all right. Kanon regretted his poor choice of words. Did he really say, "Are you all right?" to her? Was he really that clueless of the pain in her heart? This was what made him furniture. No, it's what makes you a man. This is why he couldn't become human.
New song? I will be in the corridor. If you need anything, please call me immediately.
Kanon understood that she needed some time to cry alone. He told her to call him at any time, bowed, and tried to leave the room.
Oh, the song is called Moon. Do you need something?
Jessica had spoken up as though she wanted him to stop, so Kanon had stopped. If she asks it, I'll do anything I can to help her. Right now, I'll become even a cane or a chair if it would help ease the pain in her heart. If by doing that, I could make up for the pain I dealt to her heart on that day. For a while, Jessica stared into Kanon's eyes. It was as though her reason for stopping him was something she couldn't put into words. For a while, neither spoke. Jessica broke that silence with a small voice. I'm sorry. It's nothing. Could you
tell Aunt Rosa that I want to be alone for a while?
I won't let you be alone.
Huh?
I won't let you be alone. So I will be in the corridor. Please call for me at any time.
For just an instant, it looked like some kind of hope had flitted into Jessica's eyes. But it was very faint and disappeared like the first snow on the surface of a river.
Thanks. Let me cry alone for just a bit.
Yes.
I feel like the music's getting louder.
I like it so much because it's called Moon, and you know the thing about Japanese moon.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
Moon?
Moon?
What about the moon? Kanon bowed once again and closed the door. God, that would suck having a language where... Could you imagine if love was one of those words in English that could mean two different things?
It goes so hard, honestly. I like it. Actually, it would go so soft. Audience, for those of you at home that are not aware, if you're not aware, moon in Japanese is tsuki. And to say that you like someone, to profess your love for someone, is suki. So.
That from the gut-wrenching movie
A Silent Voice,
which I highly recommend to anyone who wants to cry.
Yeah.
Or not, or you might be like Pertusit and have the will of a angel and not be able to cry at such a heart-wrenching story, but
I just keep it all on the inside. I'm crying on the inside. My doctor said I should be worried by that. No, but actually, I really like that they... Okay, I don't know if this is what they're going for, but the vibes I'm picking up is it's between this broken relationship between these two, and so they named the song Tsuki, which is the word that's used, like, you know, it's for miscommunication in relationships. I think it just fits it perfectly. But
and at the same time is also an analogy for love. That they both do share for each other, but they just did a bad job of communicating it.
Exactly. It's perfect. Perfect word for their song.
He thought those words of his would give her some courage. But now, it felt as though they'd actually hurt her for some reason. Why? Again, this is why you're a man. He didn't know. Surely that was because...
Say it.
He was furniture. Damn it. God damn it, Kanon. That's why he couldn't grasp human sadness, even now.
Now what? Now where?
As Kanon repeatedly questioned himself, he walked down the corridor. He felt like the window at the corridor's end was coolly calling to him.
In the end... Am I nothing more than furniture after all?
It was still pouring outside, a dark, gray world. Even on days like this, Shannon would surely see the ocean and know that it was blue. But to my eyes, even if it cleared up, I would only see gray. Until I can understand the blue of the ocean, I'll be nothing but furniture imitating a person.
You really don't understand a woman's heart, do you? At times like that, you ought to silently remain by her side. That's why you're furniture. You...
There shouldn't have been any trace of human life in this corridor. It had been an empty corridor filled with frigid air. But those scoffing words approached Kanon from behind.
Bop.
When he turned around, he saw that witch. That witch, who hadn't shown herself when Jessica had searched for her with a rage bordering on madness, and who had left that sneering letter to toy with Jessica.
There are 3 ways to hurt a woman. Take note here, Levi. Let me teach you them.
I've probably done them all.
What? One is to hurt them with a blade.
Don't worry about it.
Another is to hurt them in their heart. The last way is the most difficult and most effective method of hurting them. And yet it can hurt them without you even realizing it. Do you know what I mean? How could I know? I don't even want to know. It's to betray their expectations.
Definitely have done that one.
Same. No living being is more of a dreamer than a woman.
She's spitting facts right now.
She knows what's up. They make up dreams all on their own and end up hurting their own selves.
Holy.
A distant man like you hurts women the most. You couldn't understand. You have no idea how deeply you've wounded Jessica. After all, you're furniture. I have no intention of playing along with your nonsense. Did you appear only to sneer at me? Don't be so full of yourself, furniture. You aren't worth sneering at. Still, though, you may not be worth my time on your own. If the two of you are gathered, that's all I need. The pleasure that comes from laughing at the fates of young couples never tires me. What did you say? You don't mean... Milady is going to be... I need two who are close for the sacrifices of the second twilight. The two of you truly are convenient. Wait! Don't misunderstand. Milady and I don't have that kind of relationship. We can't become the sacrifices for the second twilight. That's why you hurt Jessica. That's why you cannot become human. Then there should be no problem if you won't admit you have feelings for Jessica. I can accept that. But I will kill her. Why?
Yeah, just feeling like it.
You idiot! Isn't it obvious?
Oh!
It'll be fun to kill her and see your face twist in pain. Why else?
Don't look at me like that.
Following the rules of the ceremony, 13 people will be sacrificed on my whims. However, there's no rule that says I can't kill more.
She is spitting facts.
Yeah. If it amuses me, I can kill any number of people.
They went so hard with these sprites.
Yeah. So I will. Make me laugh as hard as I can. Kanon the furniture!
At that time, Kanon definitely heard Jessica scream.
Alright, Levi. Tell me, are you ready? Are you ready?
There's chanting in my ears right now.
Yeah, that's a song as well. I gotta go find it again. I think that one's called either Life's End or Scorpion Entrails. Life's End. Life's End.
I'm not.
Are you
I haven't
ready?
been ready for like the past 3 things you've asked me if I'm ready for.
It's about to go down, is all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Alright?
Okay.
Send it.
When he blinked and looked down the corridor, the witch who'd supposedly been there so nonchalantly a second ago was gone. At that moment, he was just standing there, all alone in the corridor, doing nothing. And the person he wanted to protect was asking for help from far away in that direction. It was obvious what he should do. It wasn't logical. It was an electric reflex. Without a trace of hesitation or distraction, there was a person he wanted to protect, and she was asking for help. And at that moment, he genuinely wanted the person by her side to be him. When he flew into Jessica's room, the scene that greeted his eyes was a bizarre one. The room had become a fantastical world where a blizzard of gold-colored specks danced, almost as though gold leaf had been scattered inside a snow globe. No, that's not it. I've seen this spectacle before. He's gonna say it. This isn't gold leaf. It's countless golden butterflies! Beatrice's minions!
Ooh.
Jessica was surrounded by countless butterflies, waving her hands around, trying frantically to drive them away.
Milady!
Kanon-kun! Help! Kanon rushed towards Jessica and violently brushed the cloud of butterflies away. The butterflies, which were sickening despite their beauty, surrounded Jessica's face, trying to crawl in through her mouth and nose. Jessica choked violently, almost as though the butterflies were triggering an asthma attack, mocking her. But when Kanon ran towards her, the butterflies stopped attacking and began to dance an elegant rondo around the pair. Kanon-kun! Kanon-kun!
It's okay. While there's still life in me, I won't let anyone lay a finger on you. Come out, Beatrice! Are you happy now?
As he stood guard in front of Jessica, who was using her inhaler and seemed to be in pain, Kanon yelled into the empty air.
Oh, there it is.
And when he did, the empty air did indeed laugh back, satisfied.
Oh. Ooh.
Oh, she's in her normal attire now.
Mm-hmm.
Then, she showed herself. It wasn't in response to Kanon's demand. It was obviously because appearing and sneering would bring them even more humiliation, and plus, it was more fun.
Now everything fits to the plot. Now you're carp on the chopping board. No, since we've got a pair of you, should I call it duck with green onions?
You... Beatrice!
Please, stand back. I'll protect you, milady. When the princess and knight come together, it's inevitable that the witch will appear. Yes, why don't you show me how much power Kinzo's furniture can muster?
She snapped her fingers with a piercing sound. When she did, a blizzard of gold butterflies was stirred up and they began to form a small mountain as they whirled around in a circle. It was just like the swirling of a cold, wintry wind that builds up a mountain of leaves. From that mound of gold, a hand sprouted, and it appeared, as though a resident of the world below was crawling up from beneath the ground. What is this? What the hell is this? Jessica couldn't comprehend what she was seeing right now, and her mouth kept flapping open and closed. It was the bite of wisdom, seen in those trying to understand something incomprehensible. Dang.
Ooh, he's jacked.
That thing crawling up was probably an attendant who served the witch. What gave it off? The suit? It appeared to be wearing a uniform suitable for one who served. But its face was wrong.
You don't say.
It looked strange. It was covered with pitch black hair, breathed rotten breath, and its eyes were filled with the same strange subterranean glow as lava. And to symbolize its non-human status, it had 2 horns. I guess Jessica's never seen a goat before. It was the figure of a goat-faced attendant who served the witch. Never mind. By now, Jessica had no idea what she should say.
Yeah.
All this happening in front of her couldn't be explained with common sense, and she couldn't do anything except open and close her mouth. Jessica hadn't realized. She hadn't realized that this island had already been cut off from the rules of our world. Our world? But there were some things even she could understand. This goat attendant served the witch and was after her life. And apparently the witch had already given it the order. She was looking at Kanon with an expectant gaze. She looked at him with an expectant and therefore challenging gaze, as though asking him how he intended to protect this maiden. Though the attendant had looked especially bestial when crawling to its feet, you could see in the way it carried itself that it possessed more than enough grace to be worthy of serving the Golden Witch. And you could tell that it was overflowing with the joy of furniture, wanting to meet its master's expectations.
Well then, why don't you show me? Let's see the power of Kinzo's furniture. This time, don't get the wrong idea, okay? Don't forget that you're furniture, got it? If you try to continue playing the human even now, this won't be settled by your death alone.
The goat attendant made what seemed to be a silent, respectful bow. Was it directed at its master, or was it offered to Kanon, its opponent? Then, on the attendant's hand, a blade of wicked malice appeared. That was so loud. What the hell is that? Jessica had been unable to understand what was happening before her eyes for a while now. All she understood was that this glow in front of her existed for the purpose of ending her life. And right now, that was enough. Kanon spoke quietly to Jessica, who was hiding behind his back.
Milady, please stay back against the wall. Never let your back leave the wall.
What?
It's only right for the maiden to obediently hide behind the great knight's back. I do hope you enjoy the pleasure of having your life protected by a man. Now, Kanon, let's have a look at your blade.
Hello?
Oh!
Perfectly timed. Beautiful. At least when it comes to giving birth to furniture, Kinzo might even reach up as far as my feet. A thing like this can't even be used to trim the roses.
Kanon-kun, what's...
I didn't want to show you. So, you've taken it out. How does it feel to expose your subhumanity in front of the girl you care for? Be silent. So you'll act composed even though you're really burning with wrath. Yes, they do say that truly hot flames burn a cool blue. Is that how you are now? There's no way I can kill you with my power. You are the moon. I could never smash the moon by throwing a rock. However, in order to manifest yourself, you've had to reflect your image off the surface of the water. If you throw a rock at the surface of the water, you might be able to disturb the moon's image for some time.
You gotta appreciate Kanon's willingness to fight the witch in both timelines.
True,
far.
he did do it twice. But that doesn't mean the moon has been smashed.
Although he's much more composed about it this time.
And he has a freaking light sword.
Yeah, he does have a light sword.
So,
Why didn't he use that last time?
until this life of mine is over, I'll keep on striking your reflection. I like it, Kanon. Begin, furniture. Ready for visual novel action sequence moment?
This is Craig. Ooh, he's got one eye closed.
That's all he needs.
Ha!
Bing, 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 bing.
forgot to mention I have epilepsy.
Yeah, right. Uh-oh. Oh, what a beautiful curve. The witch's... That's you, that's not me. I broke it for a minute. I broke the fifth wall.
The witch's words of admiration broke the silence, and for just an instant they broke Jessica's paralysis. Am I dreaming?
I don't know what the heck this beat is here.
It's groovy is what it is.
Oh, I figured it out. The name of this song is just called Where. Like W-H-E-R-E.
War?
No punctuation, no. Come, furniture of the witch. I'll beat you down to the hell you came from. There it goes again.
Yep, we're doing it again. Why doesn't the big man have a little move across the screen sprite?
He's lame.
This is so cool.
It goes really hard.
A strand of red had been left on Kanon's cheek.
That's not so bad.
The witch saw this and grinned broadly.
Feel free to mutter excuses about how your instincts still haven't returned quite yet.
Kanon-kun, stay strong.
Ganbate? It's okay. I won't die just yet. Boom!
Whoa!
Whoa!
Where are we going, bro?
I don't know. They threw the camera.
Yeah, they did.
Oh. Oh!
Well, damn. Just like that, huh? The curve drawn by the goat attendant's blade drew a large arc in empty space. Kanon wasn't there. He was behind it. Teleports behind you?
Nothing personnel.
Nothing
goat.
personnel.
Yo!
Furniture.
Go back and await your master's return. Die.
I genuinely thought it just straight up killed him right there.
Me too.
If this battle of drawing sparkling curves was chess, then Kanon coming out from behind was check. You didn't say checkmate. Why didn't you say checkmate? And press, and press, and press, and press. Use 7 moves and make it mate.
Well, that's why, see?
Perhaps the goat attendant hadn't even been granted the ability to go into death throes. As its knees buckled and it fell over, it broke into a bunch of gold butterflies with a pop. Way to go, Kanon. So there was no sound of it hitting the ground. Now I'm sure she's going to pull some bullshit and still kill them anyways, because the epitaph demands it. Even those unable to understand this battle would surely realize that Kanon had been magnificent.
Golf clap. So it couldn't win against a handmade piece. It seems you aren't quite that pathetic. You're next, Beatrice!
The instant Kanon's blade sliced diagonally through the witch's form like a knife through butter, she turned to golden burst. She scattered into several thousand, dang, that's a lot of butterflies, gold butterflies, and just for an instant, the room was filled with the color of twilight. It was just as Kanon himself had said. Slicing Beatrice was the same as slicing the surface of the water where the moon was reflected.
Wow.
The witch's form, with an ordinary expression on its face, as though she'd been there the whole time, was right behind Kanon. That's really funny to me that she did the exact same thing.
Yep. Oh. You've provided quite an entertaining show. Out of respect for that, I thought about letting you off the hook, but your rudeness now has made me change my mind. Don't lie. I won't let you kill Milady. Even if that's impossible, I won't let you kill her while I still live. You can't even do that much. Do not speak, furniture. Be silent, furniture. Know your place, furniture.
Kanon-kun isn't furniture!
Whoa. Oh. And what makes you think that?
I don't need a reason. Kanon-kun is Kanon-kun. No, his real name's different, but a name doesn't make him furniture. Kanon-kun has his own way of living. That's a noble thing, and it's something he gets to decide for himself. You say he can't have an opinion because he's furniture? That he can't live his own life because he's furniture? That's wrong.
Milady, you mustn't provoke her. You've been doing that all night, dog.
It's different when she does it. That puts her in danger. No. I've got to make this clear. Kanon-kun isn't furniture. He's human. Why? Kanon-kun rushed to save me of his own free will. And he stood in the path of a fearsome witch like you. He had so many chances to just let me go, but he didn't. Self-sacrifice is part of the noble spirit that only humans have. That means Kanon-kun's human. So take it back. Don't you call Kanon-kun furniture again.
Milady. Be silent, human. Let's end this quickly, since this is still just the second twilight after all. Now I shall sacrifice the two who are close, who have acknowledged each other's dignity. Well then, arise, forgive the sin, one of the 7 stakes of purgatory, lust!
The witch summoned her furniture with a mixture of laughter and anger on her face.
Hey. 1 second.
Oh
It's
God!
Me,
Who?
it's
Okay,
me.
okay.
I have the list pulled up.
I knew about this very vaguely because of D&D.
What the heck am I gonna give your
There's
voice?
7 of them.
Yes!
Oh.
Okay, hold on. I gotta think
One
about
of us
what
gets
female
4 and
voice
one
I
of us
can
gets
do.
3.
I'm giving her a nerd voice. No, I don't want to give her a nerd voice. She's Asmodeus of Lust. Okay, I got it. Ready? Asmodeus of Lust. Right here. I've had enough of this farce. Quickly, execute the second twilight. Don't keep me waiting, got it? As you command.
Another weirdo's shown up. It took Kanon less than an instant to understand. That goat face from a second ago had been nothing more than a pawn to the witch. However, this newly summoned furniture was a game piece with a vastly different value.
It's just like high school DD. Wow, I must be lucky to be given such wonderful prey. You scared? How cute.
Would.
Dang. Can we see her full body art in the menu? Is she in there?
Let's find out. I do not believe so.
Dang, okay. Oh, we also got the 6 deads now. We could look at that
Yeah.
real quickly in the middle of the action.
His stomach was cut open, intestines pulled out. After his death, on top of that, sweets and candies were packed into his stomach. This is why we want to be as sweet and innocent as candy. Same thing. And so, I give you the land of dreams. Happy Halloween. Same thing. Why would there be anything filthy inside someone's stomach? Same thing. Everyone has a stomach filled with sweet dreams. Didn't I tell you? Stomachs are packed full of candy. And welcome, Maria. Happy Halloween.
Dang.
These ones seem like they're from the witch, not Maria, as in the previous episode.
Yeah. Okay. Come, furniture of the witch. I won't be killed by you. You're acting pretty smart for a dunce who can't even follow me with his eyes.
I could follow her with my eyes.
Holy. Here I go, Kay. Hey, where do you want it?
Don't ask me that.
Where do you want me to pierce you?
You're piercing?
Answer me, cutie.
I changed my mind.
I'll pierce you good wherever you want.
Get away from me.
Come on, answer me, cutie. Don't call me cute. Here I go, you dunce. Come on, try and follow me, you blind idiot. Pop.
Man, you can't even play this dang game.
Milady.
I couldn't follow it with my eyes, but my guess was spot on. Serves you right.
Kanon's back had been the target, but Jessica had predicted it. She'd predicted that the witch's target would be the complete opposite of fair and honest, his back. But she had no way to block it. She hadn't planned on it being some act of self-sacrifice. She just couldn't think of any other way to protect Kanon's back. So she could do nothing but block it with her own back. The furniture of the witch, which had changed its form into a demon's stake, was buried deep into Jessica's back. It was an obviously fatal wound that reached as far as her lungs. When she saw this, the witch let out a loud, evil laugh, because it had hit where the witch had predicted. Everything was as the witch had predicted.
What's wrong, Kanon? Milady Jessica just got killed while you still lived, didn't she? Yes, that's it. That face, that look on your face is what I wanted to see. How truly enjoyable. That's enough. Die, make me laugh. Come, arise, forgive the sin.
Is there gonna be another one already?
One of the 7 stakes of purgatory.
My turn!
Wrath!
Oh god.
Yeah, it is your turn. Good luck.
Satan of Wrath. Right here.
I'm writing it in our notes so we know who had which one last. I put all caps on. Help me. Okay.
Satan of Wrath!
Yeah. This spray is yours. Eat him up right now and close the curtain on his stage. If you were a human, I'd say it's time for you to step down. But since you're furniture, maybe I should say it's time for the stage manager to carry you behind the stage. I am not furniture anymore. I won't doubt that again.
Oh, what's this? You want to be killed by me again? Your chest. It's so warm, and it feels so good to pierce it. Come on, let me have another taste, okay? Won't you make me feel really good with that hot, fresh blood in that warm chest of yours?
Oh.
Me on an average Friday night.
True.
There was no way to block it. The sound of a woodpecker filled the entire room. And before he could blink, It was already right in the center of his chest. When you take a piece in chess, the rule says that it's impossible for your opponent's piece to defend itself. So this was an obvious result, in accordance with the rules. Kanon landed on his knees, and he apologized. Not to the witch, and not to Milady. He apologized to Jessica.
I'm sorry. I couldn't protect you.
Don't worry about it. You were really cool.
Kanon finally fell over. He landed next to Jessica, and the two lay there like the constellation Gemini.
You know,
Kanon-kun,
you aren't furniture anymore.
Yes. I was too late in realizing that.
I wanted to ask you what your real name was.
My real name is...
Oh, fuck you. In his last moments, Kanon wanted to tell her his real name. But Jessica had already fallen into a sleep from which she would never wake. So Kanon's real name, which he had protected until today, in the end, he couldn't tell it to Jessica.
I became you.
Those were the last words Kanon left behind.
Don't make me laugh, furniture. Even after 100 years, furniture will still be furniture. Have you ever heard of anyone stupid enough to dig a grave for their furniture when they throw it away? You smash furniture to pieces and make firewood, so that all's left is ashes. That's how it is. Furniture gets no tombstone. It seems you believe death means an end to your humiliation, but that's naive. I'll show you what it really means to disgrace the dead.
After taking a puff from her pipe, the witch breathed the smoke at Kanon's corpse.
Wow.
When she did, Kanon's corpse softly floated up into the air and disappeared as though it had been eaten by a mouth in empty space. The witch played dirty until the very end. The corpses of the pair who managed to understand each other in the end were not even permitted to be close. If someone had been watching, they would probably say mournfully, "So this is what you meant by disgracing the dead." However, Beatrice was far crueler than that. The reason for that would soon become apparent. Like it already hasn't?
Yeah.
She stuffed the parents' stomachs with candy. I think her cruelty's been gotten across to me pretty good.
Whoa.
Backwards
Backwards a little bit. We gotta check on some other stuff.
Oh, that was a good scene.
Yes. But, and I hate to break it to you, I think this is where I will have to call it.
Okay.
Because I haven't eaten today.
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and call it here. How long has this one been? Oh, probably the best that we stop here as well with who's on screen.
Yeah. 3.5 hours is what we're looking at,
Okay.
more or less.
That's right in the middle of where I said we were probably going to go. So, all right.
Yeah, it's a good one, folks. So, no we don't really. I mean, we have had stuff happen, but we haven't gone over the facts or anything. So I'm not gonna ask you to break it down. But just what's your take on the opening to this second episode here?
We're now starting to actually get a lot more magic stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Involved, other than vague magic or off-screen magic. We actually got 3 entities, whatever you want to call them, summoned by the witch. Light swords.
Mm-hmm.
Hot girls that can turn themselves into stakes.
Yep.
Goat men.
Mm-hmm.
An extremely action-packed sequence with Kanon and the goat furniture.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, although they are dead, it was a really sweet scene between Jessica and Kanon. And you know, if you would have asked me through episode 1, I would have never been able to tell you I would have been rooting for Kanon.
Right?
But poor boy. Poor boy.
Yeah.
All right, well, we will... No. Free me. Don't take me back to him.
And screw you, Ava and Hideyoshi this time.
Yeah. You get to die this time instead of Rosa.
Yep. And Shannon and Goda, they're fine
Get to
this
live.
time. Yeah.
And Goda also had kind of a nice moment for the first time
Yeah.
in this episode as well, where he was like, you know what, Kanon?
I trust you to
I
do
trust
anything.
you to do something for once. So there we go. Everyone is getting little snippets of maybe I should have a reason to like this character now. Although that's a very little reason for Goda. It's not much.
True. The other reason we should probably like him is because he is the culprit. He's the magical Goda chef.
He's the magical Goda chef. He orchestrated it. Goda.
That's true.
You think Jessica just happens to die like that?
I don't want to spoil it, but let's think about it real quick, right? All the 6 people, they had their stomachs torn open.
Yeah, their stomach's torn open.
And one way you could do that is if you had used small bombs.
Small bombs, tiny bombs in the food.
Yeah.
In the food specifically, which would have been prepared by the chef.
Magical Goda chef.
Magical
Exactly.
Goda chef.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, let me end the stream. What are they yapping about? Stream